piss down my back and tell me it's raining, government. You hear?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful day today, or at least a better day than certain former sitting presidents of formerly sovereign nations. It's funny how any nation in the world is about 2 hours away from being not that thing anymore. All right. Are we up? Are we good? Yeah, I do. I lose about 20 years when I shave. It's all right, though. It's all right. Graham, nice to see you here, sir. Mocha's strongest soldier. Yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. Apparently, something just kicked off in Caracas before we started streaming, like 40 minutes ago. Apparently, there's either gang warfare or civil war or something else happening in the palace, or at least near the palace in Caracas. So we'll take a look at that tonight. We got lots of fun stuff. We, of course, have the coolest op in the last like 20 years, probably. We got some cool footage. We got some cool stuff. We got people coping and seething about all of this nonsense. Cuba most affected, of course. Cuba's probably next. Let's be real here. And got some downsides. Tim Waltz decided to become, well, we'll save that for later, but he definitely decided something for sure. And then, yeah, we got actually some really, really wacky gun stuff to talk about. California did one-based things. Maybe we'll even end it with some black pilling. Or our, what's this section called? The rage bait portion of the story. But before we get to that, Richard, how's your night going, sir?
Good. How's everybody night?
Oh, I hope everyone is doing quite well, enjoying the show. I put it up on Twitter, but I said this circus was pretty good, actually. Tom Foe put out a video the other day. The circus is boring and the bread is stale, but this circus, I do have to admit, this circus was pretty good. Okay, but we have a couple little memes before we get to the main event. Okay, well, people are rolling in. Hope you're all having a wonderful Monday. It is Monday after all, but your Monday is not going as bad as this man's Monday will be for the rest of his life. Have you seen this, Richard?
Oof.
Yeah. That is a choice. So for those of you listening on audio platforms, a balding somebody who looks to be in his late 20s, early 30s, a balding man has decided to tattoo across his forehead a
Maxim PDW.
Maxim
762.
PDW, but it's not even a cool one. Not even a cool one. So instead of having like a suppressor or something on it, it has a blast forwarding device. And instead of having, some cool optic, it literally has a Holosun 510C on a riser. No, that's a 510C. Has a Holosun 510C on a I forget the name of the guy that does that riser, but yeah. Now I'm hoping this is not real. I'm hoping this is very fake. If real, baller PSA mixtape. 5.5-inch barrel. 5.5-inch barrel is all you need. Okay, don't let anybody tell you different. 5.5 inches is plenty. Some would say oversized. Honestly, oversized. Mike Oxard says that is one special kind of stupid. Indeed. Now you're already balding. Dude. Okay. You know how Garantham, he's doing the whole hair implants thing, because he's balding a little bit. He wants to touch up. He wants to have a full head of hair.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a little silly, little, maybe a little bit of mockery for you. But how much would PSA have to pay him to, instead of getting hair implants, to tattoo this onto his forehead?
So did you see the guy who sold sponsor slots on his wedding tux? He and his fiance were having trouble paying for the wedding, so he's like, I'm going to sell sponsor slots on my tux and then all of the wedding photos, and he generated quite a good chunk of change. This is taking that to a whole other level.
Yeah, it's not even like the coolest stuff, This screams somebody who hasn't been into guns all that long or is not really a nerd, because I could see cloners doing something this degenerate. Right? Somebody doing the Gordy clone, or the Blood Diamond, or some of the other, like uber over cloned guns out there. I could see one of them doing something like this. But this is like poor coded, but also stupid coded.
No, those Maxim PDWs are like $2,000.
Yeah, but it's okay. So they see the gun that looks cool, but then they put a Holosun 510C on it on a Unity fast riser. So it's weird, and there's no suppressor either. So it's just a blast forwarder and a 510C on top.
I think this might be somebody's actual build.
Yeah, what's funny about this too? You cannot use the iron sights on this build. The iron sights are there for moral support. Is that not a Maxim? I don't know. Maybe it's just a really cheap rifle with the Maxim PDW brace on it, or maybe it's a Strike Industries PDW brace. How about that? Well, because it is they even got the SLR handguard right with the lockup on there, which is kind of crazy, the amount of detail that goes into it. So they're pretty darn close. Anyways, hopefully that's AI. But what's not AI is, again, just silly little memes to start out the stream. This guy tweeted this at me. Bro, please check on Trent. So Andy Neo posts this. Here's a video from the Glasgow, Scotland. A shame to my people. Event where a trans activist had people kick him in the balls to celebrate him getting bottom surgery soon. Yes, you heard that correctly. This trans activist man is paying people to come in the park in some sort of weird degenerate humiliation ritual, which he gets off on, to kick him in the balls before he has bottom surgery. I feel like we should outlaw bottom surgery, but this should just be a normal form of, a normal form of punishment. As Ivan says, it's all a fetish. It's a fetish. It's a fetish. It's just weird. It's just degenerate. This isn't like empowering. It's just a degenerate sexual fetish. And it's I mean, look at the people in the background, though. It's the most dysgenic, ugly thing you'll ever see. And I wonder if he sent me the flyers. Let me see if I can find the flyer for it real fast. I don't know.
The ironic part about that is the doctors might not be able to perform surgery if it's like if
Yeah,
the
look at
area
this.
is too damaged.
Come watch me get kicked in the balls one last time before bottom surgery. Now it says, obviously it's, UK British timing. So it's 1/4/26 Queen's Park Gate at 1 p.m. This poster is not a bit. I'm actually getting kicked hard in the cock and balls. LMAO, maximum disrespect. Yes, because it's your fetish. A nice Sunday out for the polycule. Huh. Pick performed by... Now this is... I can say it's right. Pick performed by a large dyke. That's quite funny. Yeah, so... what a year so far, gentlemen.
Did they sell tickets?
No, you could just go up and watch it. Yeah, which again, the more people watching, probably the better for the guy as he literally and figuratively gets his rocks off. No, I can't play the young hop clip too early into the stream, otherwise the YouTube overloads won't like it. We're already getting close to the edge, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so what a crazy year, huh? Captain, it's only the 5th of January. Mass Somalian fraud exposed. Maduro black bagged. True. Chavez tomb bombed out. Yep. Tim Waltz announces his political career is over. And Mark Kelly is facing the US UCMJ. Sorry, I think he's going to end up being an ensign by the time it's all over and done with. Wow. Brass and beards. That's an inside thought. Inside thought. But as I mentioned earlier, it appears that this is from Benny Johnson about 43 minutes ago, that there's some fighting breaking out in the capital of Caracas. He has some video here. I'm not sure what to make of this. Obviously, Benny Johnson, possibly closeted homosexual as anyone in the Republican Party might be, but relatively reputable. That being said, all other factors held in check.
Lo que le dice que para dónde vas tú, yo vivo aquí, le dice este carajo. Mierda, qué susto, chamo. Al suelo.
So you can see, like, I don't know, I didn't get the massive gunfire, but you can see guys with guns in the streets. Now, whether this is gang warfare, whether this is loyalists versus whoever else is taking power right now, most likely a bit of both, right? Power struggles plus gangs fighting for territory. Seems like some action is happening around the presidential palace there, or the formerly presidential palace, right? Now, this footage here, he also attached, which looks like them launching rockets into the sky, because somebody said that it's possible that like our troops are re-involved again tonight doing something. I don't know why that would be the case, considering we already got everything that we wanted, but I'm not sure who these guys are launching these rockets at, if this is genuine footage from tonight and not like footage from Tel Aviv from like months ago. Darsquidia says, rumor has it they were shooting at their own drones. Okay. Did S2 already have a news flash on this already? Did we miss an S2 upload? Can we get S2 in the stream? S2 is a lot bigger than I am, but it's possible we could get him at some point in time. He's a busy man. It's very fast. Very, very, very fast at what he does. Let me see real fast. S2 Underground. 38 minutes ago, 6 minutes. No, that's fine. We'll leave it. Yeah, okay. The wire is out, but not about the drone / Myra Flores incident. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What just happened? Because again, this was like 45 minutes ago. So if he already had a video out, that would be wild.
No se plomo, mami. Tranquila, tranquila.
And again, I'm not sure if that is, if there's any sort of new updates on that, what's going on. We just have these random video dumps by Mr. Benny Johnson in terms of like developing fighting around the Capitol, which I imagine, I imagine that's going to continue, if not escalate, if not get worse. This is new. This is apparently from tonight. Again, about 45 minutes ago, Benny Johnson is posting this, that there's some variation of loyalists, of whoever is currently in power, gangs, you know, communists versus people trying to free themselves from communism, whatever it might be, right? You have all these guys vying for power currently, and there appears to be some fighting around the presidential palace in Caracas tonight. So it's a mini little, not even a civil war, probably a civil skirmish. Yesterday, of course, way after all the bombings and everything else had taken place and Maduro was gone, we saw their tanks moving around the city, armored vehicles moving around the city, because they still have, like, you know, a standing army. And now it's the generals and whoever else is left in his cabinet figuring out, well, we would like to not be taken next, right? So we're going to figure out who's going to take charge, who's going to work with the U.S., essentially, who's going to give them whatever they want, and then if they can actually hold that power. Yeah. The vacuum of power. True.
Well,
All
I
right.
wonder if they tried to fill the vacuum of power preemptively by dropping off some black bags filled with party favors and such to some of their sources on the ground.
Ivan in the chat saying it's been resolved. I mean, again, it's what it sounded like was maybe a couple dozen dudes shooting at each other. Maybe somebody trying to shoot down a drone, right? That's what it seems like. So not some large scale conflict where, you know, the city's set on fire by thousands of people shooting it out in the streets, right? Not that level of violence, but just minor power struggles, scuffles as people are scrambling to make sense of the new world order in Venezuela. This was just a misunderstanding. It's all just a little bit of a misunderstanding, all right? Well, dude, okay, I would be on edge. Imagine being a Venezuelan citizen, okay? You know, you just had your president black bag. You just got raffle stomped by the U.S. military, okay? And it's dark. You're scared of something else happening, kicking off at night. You know, there's other factions at play. Somebody starts shooting at you. You start shooting back. You're having a good time, yada, yada, yada. You know, one thing leads to another, and now there's some gang conflict in the streets, okay? It's fun. Fun stuff. Misinput. True. Imagine. I said raffle stomp, not waffle stomp, you idiot, Jake. Imagine being Venezuelan. No thanks, yeah. No thank you, sir. None for me.
So I wonder if there's people out in the sticks of Venezuela who aren't even aware that their president has been black bagged.
Dude, there's somebody out on a camping trip right now that's going to have the wildest update of all time when he comes back. It's like, what happened?
Last night, on the order of the President of the United States, and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, the United States military conducted an...
I do love when this is from Business Today with 3 million subscribers. Their audio visual guys like, you know that cell phone footage? We're going to put a green filter over it to make it look like night vision footage. But we've already seen all of this footage. It's just cell phone footage, bro.
Apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice 2 indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro.
And there is Maduro with all the DA agents getting off the plane with his hat oddly shaped. You know, that hat should be pink. Somebody should Photoshop that pink. But he's looking like he's had a rough night, okay? It's probably been a really wacky 24 hours. Very, very wacky 24 hours for this man.
Venezuelan president in U.S. custody.
Now, this is funny, though, where he's just sitting there, sorry, thumbs up, like, I'm good, guys. I'm never coming back. I made it out. Good luck. Good luck, everybody else.
Surrounded by Drug Enforcement Administration officials, after his image in blindfold released by the U.S., the grabbing of a president from his fortified compound comes after one of the most audacious raids by the United States on foreign soil.
This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history.
U.S. forces executed a meticulously planned covert mission codenamed Operation Absolute Resolve to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. The operation followed months of escalating U.S. military activity in the region, including strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats and facilities linked to Venezuelan networks. During this period, U.S. intelligence agencies are said to have closely tracked Maduro's daily routines, movements, and security patterns.
Yeah, so allegedly they had like CIA operatives on the ground, like plotting every single move that he made for weeks and weeks. So what he ate, where he slept, like down to the minute, all of his movements. And then I don't know if they're going to get into it in this little clip here, but Delta Force, they constructed a 1-to-1 replica of the compound where he was staying in Kentucky somewhere, right, at one of their training facilities. And they just ran that over and over and over again. And depending on how fast they were able to get in and get him out, they were prepared to actually breach his safe room. So he had like an actual safe room, you know, with the big steel doors, basically like a giant vault, but designed to keep you alive and out of somebody else's hands. They were absolutely prepared to breach that if they needed to, if they didn't get him fast enough. But, you know, Delta doing Delta things managed to get him and his wife before they even made it to the safe room. So
Did I hear correctly that they were averaging around 47 seconds to breach a 1-to-1 replica of the safe room?
Something like that. It was under a minute because they brought everything. And this is the thing about having a blank check as a budget, is that you can just practice over and over again until you get it down perfect. You have all of the tools, everything designed to do that one job and to execute it perfectly, right? Yeah. And that was the contingency plan, right? Was to then blow the vault and we're going to get into his guards, which were mostly Cuban, or at least a good portion of them were Cuban. Almost half of the casualties were Cuban bodyguards, and we'll get into that in just a minute, probably. Oh, also, I do want to say all of the Limpen CQB fans are on suicide watch right now. So when Matt Prank or some of these other guys are like, yeah, you know, you just be dynamic and you just go in there and you do your thing. 0 casualties while extracting the president of a foreign country. Okay. So I think dynamic from all the available evidence. Okay. I think dynamic is the way to go.
While elite units rehearsed the raid on a full-scale replica of the presidential compound.
Now it's 80. I think it was 82-0. 82-0 KD.
As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice.
Was that his wife? Because I actually, it's funny, I haven't seen a picture of his wife yet. So is she a baddie or is she like, you know, abuela?
Blonde.
Hey, somebody's watching over on X. Yeah, I thought about it. I have X Premium, so I might as well just, which sounds bad. Okay, just watch me on X videos, guys. But yeah, so the X chat is plugged in.
Indicted, gave up, and were taken into custody by the
She's
Department
cute.
of Justice,
She's
assisted
smiling.
by our incredible.
She's cute.
Dude, she's
All right.
smiling.
Well, she's indicted too, right? Because she's also a psychopath. Would? Oh my gosh. Now, do I have to Google her right now? I don't even know her name. Maduro's wife. Celia Flores.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who's like almost 60 years old in this, or over 60 years old in this, like, she doesn't look the worst, right? Smash or pass? More like snatch and pass if you're Delta, right? I can fix her. No.
And were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life.
Reports say the strike was launched under.
Now, that is also very important because we heard that one of the choppers got quite shot up and that some people were injured both with bullets and shrapnel. But again, 0 casualties. Now, Mr. Guns and Gear has some footage of the Venezuelans on the ground actually launching some of their anti-air systems at the choppers, which, you know, providentially, magically did not hit any of the choppers, because if we had lost like even, you know, one of the Chinooks, right, and we lost like 20 US personnel, like it would be a very different story right now. We would not be like celebrating this as a total victory. It's like we got Maduro and lost a chopper full of dudes, which would not be cool.
Under the cover of darkness after U.S. commanders waited days for optimal weather. More than 150 aircraft, including helicopters and fixed-wing support, were reportedly involved, with assault teams flying low over water as protective aircraft dominated in the airspace above.
Hey, have a good night, John. Appreciate you.
After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela.
The U.S. is believed to have enforced a...
So I believe what he's saying there is getting in was the easy part, but then after people started figuring out what was going, that's when security details, bodyguards, and everybody started basically rushing the position. And that's when they were engaged by forces on the ground.
Power blackout in capital Caracas to give its troops cover of darkness. Elite U.S. Special Forces, including Delta Force, are said to have stormed the compound in a rapid, violent entry, triggering multiple explosions across Caracas. Multiple casualties were reported on the Venezuela side, while Trump says a couple of U.S. soldiers were hurt, but not fatally.
Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
Heavy breaching equipment, including industrial blowtorches, was reportedly kept ready to cut through steel-reinforced safe rooms. Maduro attempted to reach a secure, reinforced safe house, but failed to make it inside. According to U.S. accounts, assault teams moved in within minutes and nabbed him amid a hail of gunfire. The entire operation reportedly lasted less than 30 minutes. Trump, surrounded by his advisors at his Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, I do want to say though, so they were able to watch the entire thing unfold live, right? From the war room there. So, I know it's never going to happen, of course, for OPSEC, but if we could get the first person cam footage from the Delta guys, that would probably be some of the sickest footage out there. Like the landing in, grabbing Maduro, taking out like 40 security guards and then holding until their choppers are there to get out, right? That is probably some of the sickest footage that we will never see because it is locked away and you'll never see it, unfortunately. But if there was a way to redact it to a point where it wouldn't violate OPSEC or give anybody's identities away, like that would be pretty fun. That would be cool. Well, and getting the first person view of all of the CAG guys, like all of them, right? Think about the edits, okay? Think about the edits. DHS, you should release some of the footage just so that we can edit it, okay? All right. The American Imperium must be built, and we will do it on the back of meme propagandists.
Mar-a-Lago Club in Florida watched a live stream of the raids. One U.S. helicopter was hit by hostile fire but managed to return safely. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were then flown by helicopter to a U.S. warship and later transferred to the United States.
Yeah, somebody said earlier Maduro's like 7 feet tall. Maduro has been taller than everybody else that he's been put next to so far. He's a big man. Okay, thank you very much, Business Insider. But this is what I was mentioning earlier. Mr. Gunsengear has footage of the man pads in Caracas firing at the helicopters. Again, it's just very lucky that, or just, electronic warfare, as some other people were mentioning in the chat, or whatever else it might be. But they were absolutely attempting to down some of those choppers.
Mierda, marico. Chuleta.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Oh, now this is funny. This is funny. Now, the source here is Ian Miles Chong, which is, gay and lame or whatever. But this is like a month before we nabbed Maduro. Here are the top security forces and war personnel, like for social media, doing like a mock how we are going to defend the president and Caracas and Venezuela from the American imperialist dogs, right? So everybody's in their best Timu getup, wearing helmets with nothing on them, and they're just pretending to be able to stop the American military.
La isla de Patos se va a hacer un saneamiento y exploración con todos los medios aeronavales para contribuir al ejercicio que estamos efectuando en este momento en el adiestramiento y la cooperación de todas las tripulaciones y el personal de combatiente individual.
Bueno, señores generales, y esto es una realidad, no me canso de repetirle y recordar.
Senor Double Chin over there, obviously giving his take on the situation. Whatever it was, whatever they are saying, of course, because I don't speak Taka, but whatever they are saying, it was incorrect. It was wrong. Yeah, they call us LARPers, okay? But listen, I think any of us LARPing is probably more equipped and more rationally sound than the Venezuelan military. As it tends to be.
Have you seen the Venezuelan construction, though? I mean, they're right to be wearing those helmets. Those ceiling tiles might just cave in.
That is true. That is true. Third world infrastructure at its finest. How many of these clowns are missing in action now? Probably a few, but again, the total casualties were only 80 or so. That's what's being reported by both sides, basically. Cuba is saying they lost 32 personnel, which were mostly security guards, bodyguards, and intelligence assets in in Venezuela at the time. Midwest 2A says, is that black multicam? You know it is, dude. It's all about the drip, dog. It's all about I mean, the cables going to nowhere. Some of them have guns with no magazines in it. Yeah, Viva La Mexico or whatever they're saying, but it did not go as intended. One really funny thing that surely was not a integral asset, or I don't know. Again, I don't know. The memes are really good, but I don't know how important the Chavez mausoleum was. However, we did torch it. So 4F, I think, is for the 4th of February when Chavez took power, right? So it's like a honoring the date of when he took power or when he died or something like that. It's honoring his death or life or something. But anyways, we saw that and we were like, nah, no thank you. We'll go ahead and remove that from the face of the earth. So for whatever reason, I'm not sure how big of a strategic asset the Chavez mausoleum was, but I do think it's very, very funny that we completely annihilated it. A good meme to go along with that, of course. You don't know, Focus Trip, there could have been a super commie WMD in there. That's true, but I mean, Chavez's corpse was in there, so maybe we were really thinking ahead. And if in like a millennia somehow Venezuelan scientists were able to resurrect Chavez, we were just making sure that could never happen, right? Either way, extremely based, right? More desecrating the grave of communists is never a bad thing, all right? Yeah, and what a hideous architecture as well. I do have to say, like, look at the brightly painted favela slums underneath of this. You know, the architecture is like okay. It's like a cheap copy maybe of like Roman or Gothic architecture. It's really hideous. It's gaudy. It's ugly. The colors are awful. Okay, it's like a cheap impersonation. But you have this like palace mausoleum for your dead communist dictator sitting on top of like the worst slums in America. Make this look like would look like a 5-star hotel in comparison to these favela slums right underneath it. Very third world coded. Yeah, no, they're terrible. The color's horrible. It's ugly. These people have no sense of beauty, all right? They copy what they can't create.
I'm just curious if the U.S. Air Force is aware of the Karl Marx Memorial. I think I might need to tag them.
No. Reformed renegade going after Spanish architecture. No. Real Spanish architecture? Okay, good. All right. Third world copies of Spanish architecture? Not so much. Focus Bricks, architecture consultant. True. Yeah, the Barbie Palace. It's the Barbie Palace for Chavez's grave. Gaudy and ugly as his, wretched heart. Jolly Roger thinks it was worth it for the $25K for the JDAM. Did you get Chavez? You mean Maduro? No, I mean both. Both of them. All right, sir. As you wish. All right. Latinos make everything tacky. Yeah, true. This is a good meme, though. The site Nicolas Maduro woke up to at 1 a.m. on January 3rd, 2026. It's just the light goggles. I got to imagine that was terrifying for him. Probably running through the dark in his own compound. I don't know if he had security personnel around him. Probably. But then there's gunfire. There's flashes. Suddenly there's no talking from your security team. And then you just feel a 6'2" corn American pick you up and put a bag over your head, and you're like, oh, this is it. This is how it goes. All right. We have a before and after though of basically everything, which is really cool. So you can see the places that we actually hit, that we actually thought were important enough to take out. I might get hit on the music, so I'm gonna turn that down. So you can see here, we leveled these 3, whatever was in them. We just didn't want to be there any longer. Completely nuked that compound. This is kind of like the wider image of it all. Now this to me looks exactly like a guard shack or a like checkpoint So if somebody was going to respond to something, or if we needed like a secondary route to get out, like via vehicle, right? If we couldn't get a chopper for some reason, we have this road. And so we were like, these guys are not going to be able to QRF to the president. We're just going to eliminate them just in case. Because they leveled that completely. They're like, no, thank you. That guard check, that checkpoint, that's gone. That's off the map. All right. Now, talking about Delta for a minute, okay? Because I feel like they deserve their time in the sun, okay? Even though they won't get any credit for it for like 25 years or so. You know, just like Panama guys before them, they get the cool jobs, they do the cool things, and they kind of deserve the recognition. But you might notice surrounding the president here, there's a surprising lack of diversity among the best of the best. There's just Netflix presents Delta Force. True, but you notice real life, not so much. Not so much. Not a lot of diversity in this room. It's very, very problematic. Now, this is a post on Emperor, which is very funny from like a month ago, okay? People treat special forces like they're space marines. No, a dozen guys are not going to infiltrate a hostile country and take out the leadership unless the State and Defense Department is going to be okay with a dozen SEALs getting their heads chopped off on CNN. Now, this was a month ago, and this original poster, Sanguinor Exemplar, actually went back and updated this original post and was like, update, yeah, they're space marines. It's like, yeah, they actually can just they actually can just kind of go in and do whatever the heck they want, exert their will upon a foreign country with the backing and blessing of the United States. Yeah, now maybe if they were SEALs, it wouldn't have gone quite as smooth. But I mean, SEALs still accomplish the job. It's not always the cleanest thing. And you get a lot faster book deals and podcasts starting when a SEAL does something. But CAGs are usually the more silent professional type. You know, there's only a few of them really that even go around and talk about what they did. Larry Vickers probably the most famous, at least from a like internet social media perspective. Yeah, the SEALs will still write a book about how they tried to get the op and they weren't allowed to because CAG beat them to it or something. Yeah. And then absolute retards, really upset, really upset that we borrowed the president of a foreign country unconsensually. Seth Harp was trying to go out and dox the Delta Force commander to put his life in danger, to endanger the life of him and his family for Reddit karma or something gay and retarded. So Seth Harp says this is the current commander of Delta Force whose men just invaded a sovereign country, killed a bunch of innocent people. Well, that's to be debated. And kidnapped the rightful president. That's also to be debated. Can he really be called the rightful president if you like screw over all of your elections and cheat at every turn? Like, I mean, he who holds the power holds the power. But I mean, if we're going from this guy's probably retarded, you know, democracy first ideals, like I don't think he would even consider Maduro to be the rightful president if you really pressed him on it. By the way, it's perfectly legal for a U.S. reporter to disclose classified material, the leakage of which I did not procure. So he's going out here trying to dox the Delta commander, which don't do that. Now, he got doxed in return, which of course I don't condone. But I do understand it. All right. I do understand it. So he protected his account because, you know, doxing your own military special ops community is not. Don't do that. Don't do that. People going to be really upset with you when you do that. Rightfully so. Now, this is the funny part. So this is now before this, I had no idea what the Cuban government actually even looked like or who the president was or anything like that or what his title was. But this is the Cuban leader, Miguel Diaz-Canel, announces that 32 Cuban citizens, including military, bodyguards, and intelligence agents, were killed while attempting to defend Maduro. He has declared 2 days of national mourning in Cuba. So Cuba is officially saying that they killed 32 of our operatives in the removal of Maduro from the presidency, right? and the extraction of him. They killed 32 of our own guys.
Those are rookie numbers. I'm going to have to bump those numbers up.
Well, you might be asking yourself, some people in the chat, why would you have Cuban bodyguards if you're the president of Venezuela? Surely, like, we don't have French bodyguards. That would seem really silly for the president of the United States to be protected by French bodyguards. Well, you see,
bodyguards?
well, okay, that's funny. That one's funny. Okay, all right, maybe you have a point there. But when you're a third world dictator, your country might not actually like you all that much. So having your own citizens protect you, especially if there's infighting or, you know, there's greedy people that might be hungry for your spot at the table, your own people might not be the most trustworthy or the most reliable. However, you know, as long as your gold and your oil money is good, which there's another story involved there as well, as long as your gold and your money is good, well, you might trust Cuban mercenaries essentially over your own people, right? And so, you know, Delta Force was probably aware of who they were going to be going up against. They were probably aware exactly of who the bodyguards were, exactly who the intelligence assets were. And they were like, you know what? We're already not allies with Cuba, so it doesn't matter if we're killing Venezuelan bodyguards or Cuban bodyguards. So we're going to go in there and we're going to battle the Cuban bodyguards for the Venezuelan president, which is kind of just funny. And yeah, they took out 32 of them. 32 intelligence assets, bodyguards, security agents, whatever it might have been. And Cuba is having their day of mourning. So I do have to say, though, Cuban president, if those were your best and you sent those guys to defend Maduro, you probably want to up the selection of your own bodyguards, okay? Because 32 down, 32-0. Yeah, 32-0. That's rough. That's rough, dude. Yeah, well, apparently the CIA had people inside the mansion, because this is the other thing, right? We're already talking about a corrupt dictatorship, right? So getting people on the inside, not that difficult. So the CIA was able to map everything that he did every day, exactly who his bodyguards were, where they were, everything. They had everything down to a T. They were able to build a 1-by-1 replica of it somewhere in Kentucky and just practice it every single day until they were confident, yeah, we can go in there and execute the mission, execute anyone that gets in our way, which happened to be about 80 people, 32 of them Cuban, right? And that's 32 Cubans, I believe, were the people close to Maduro. The 80 in total, the other 48 or so, those could also be spaced around the other different impact sites. So I'm not sure exactly how many Delta took out, but it was probably at least the 32 Cubans. Plus, I would imagine a few other Venezuelans as well. So Delta themselves, probably 40-0, 45-0, somewhere in that range. And then the others, you know, I'm sure the Air Force got some, the 160th got some for sure. So, you know, Delta's at least somewhere in that 40 to 50-0 range. 1-to-1, 1-by-1. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But now we have power struggle, and now we have everybody condemning the U.S. It's always funny when people who already hated us come out of the woodworks and they're like, wow, we really condemn you for what you just did here. And that's why the title of this stream is Don't Quote Laws to Those with Swords. Some retarded leftist on Reddit is like, wow, they really just violated international law. International law, blah, blah, blah. International law, blah, blah, blah. What does international law do against a B-2 bomber? Or an F-35? Or a squad of Delta soldiers? Like, absolutely nothing. Don't quote laws to those with swords. And here's the future president of probably Cuba, Venezuela, and Greenland. And when we get to the end of this, I do think that while we're on the expansion tour, I think Cuba looks great. And that would also remove another vector for Russia and China to embark upon a South American, or even an American crusade at some point. And also Greenland. I think we should just take it all. Okay. While we're on an American imperium expansion, okay, we got problems to deal with at home too, of course. We'll get to those. But while we're doing the whole expansion bit, Venezuela, Cuba, and Greenland, okay, just go for the trifecta, right? I feel like that would ensure American dominance for at least another century. This is the land of wolves, and you sheep will not survive. Yes. Those with power will do what they can, and those without will survive what they can.
No, you're wrong in your question. Number one, Venezuela is a major source. And the reason why is the following. And I've seen a lot of this reporting, and it's fake reporting, and I'll tell you why. It says that somehow Venezuela is not involved in the drug trade because the UN says they're not involved in the drug trade. I don't care what the UN says. The UN doesn't know what they're talking about. Maduro is indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York. That means the Southern District of New York presented the evidence to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted him. And then a superseding indictment came out that was unsealed about 1.5 years ago that specifically detailed Maduro's actions. So number one, let there be no doubt, Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and he's a fugitive of American justice.
And again, you can say that, oh, well, that's just silly that you can indict a foreign president with whatever it might be. Yeah, you might think it's silly. You might think it violates international law. Again, don't care. Wah. Cry somewhere else about it. I do have a quick update about the doxing of the Delta leader by Seth Harp, of course, the Delta commander. However, quick update to that story. As revenge for the U.S. arresting Nicolas Maduro, leftist writer Seth Harp posted the name, photo, and biographical details of a purported Delta Force commander he believes led the operation. The post went viral. But the retard Seth Harp identified the wrong military member. Oops. So you just put a different military member, an incorrect military member, an international target on the man. Harp defended his actions, saying he can leak classified material because he claims to be a reporter, which, I mean, anyone can claim to be a reporter. It's not that means much these days, but yeah, so he doxed the wrong guy. Wow. Oops. These guys just suck. Can't handle it. Can't handle the winning. Thank you for that, Matthew, by the way. I appreciate you sending me that over. Thank you for that update. But while we're on this topic, I think there's one more thing that we need to talk about, which is kind of some of the downsides of course, American expansion, is that apparently Trump does the thing that he does where he says something really good or he does something really good, and then he follows it up by being an absolute retard. Right. So here we go. This is Kristi Noem, my former governor, but now working in the Trump admin. And this is her talking about, well, hey, guess what? Now we get Venezuelan refugees. Yay, 1 million more, please. 1 million more. We're trying to get rid of them. We're trying to deport 1 million people a year, okay? Not import more of these people.
Is more free than it was yesterday. And it's going to continue to be that way as long as President Trump is in the White House and is making sure that he's protecting the interests of the American people, because that ripple effect will continue to bring that kind of liberty to Venezuela as well. These programs, we're bringing integrity back to them. The decisions are made in conjunction with the State Department, with
Sappy McStabwood says, John, how do I get out of the grounded channel so I can post links and sources on the Discord? Listen, there's one question you have to answer. It's number 4. Okay. It's really easy. It's really easy, but I appreciate that, Stabby. And also the mods have to notice you. And sometimes the mods are just really slow. Okay. They're handpicked by me, who's also very slow. So the mods are, give them time, be patient with them. Okay. Talk slowly.
With the White House, and then we at Homeland Security implement them and make sure that they are followed through. So every individual that was under TPS has the opportunity to apply for refugee status, and that evaluation.
Bro, she's got enough Botox in her face to kill a dog. Oh, wait.
And we'll look forward, but we need to make sure that our programs actually mean something and that we're following the law. And that's how that decision with TPS was made. Well, Venezuela today is more free than it was yesterday.
Yeah, it's like we're liberating Venezuela by bringing them here. Now, if you take the white pill, it's like if we remove Maduro and we get somebody a little better in there who's essentially an American vassal, who's going to rule in our stead, who is going to do what we want them to do. Much like in the Roman Empire, you would still have kings and local governors and whatnot. That essentially just, they worked for the people, but they worked for the empire, right? Which is what we want. We want somebody who has our best interest at heart, and hopefully his people do better as well, right? DHS Secretary Noem says Venezuela invaders with temporary protective status, TPS, can now apply to become refugees in the United States. President Trump revoked their temporary protected status in September. Then there was a court case in October, screenshot left. Current statement as of this video being uploaded on the DHS's site on the right. I vote we deport them all of them. Like, yes, we just freed your country. We're, it's a little dicey right now. Give it a couple weeks until you figure out things settle down a little bit. All right. But then you all get to go home. Congratulations. We did the thing you wanted us to do. We got rid of Maduro. We got rid of the reason you left. You're going back now. Every single one of you. Every single one of you. Go away. Go away. Go back home. Go back to Venezuela and be an asset there. Fix it like you're allegedly fixing our country for some reason. Please do that. All right, let me go ahead because people are asking for it. I'm going to drop the link to the Discord in the chat for you wonderful gentlemen. It's in the YouTube chat. I actually don't even know where the X chat is, and I'm not monitoring it. So if it doesn't pop up in StreamYards, I apologize. But all right, and then the other thing is, so actually, let me see. I know that the Denmark president was like, oh, hey, we don't want you guys getting involved with Greenland or anything else like that. And then the prime minister of Greenland was saying, actually, you know what? We would love to talk to the U.S. about some sort of lease agreement. And what did the British have in Hong Kong? Was it a 99-year lease or something like that? That was the agreement. So I think that's what we should do again. We should have a 99-year lease with Greenland for quote unquote national security reasons, totally not just expanding the American empire, but we will give you a large sum of cash, which is like the money's all funny money. Okay. The money is backed by the US military. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by anything else. It's backed by the US military. Okay. And as we just proved once again, rather dominant, sending a bunch of planes over to Europe right now as well, which is a little strange. Hopefully not actually starting a third world war with Russia or something like that. Maybe China is going to move on Taiwan because they're spooked about the US military moving so efficiently down south, but we'll see in the coming weeks and months and years and so on and so forth. But I think we should take Greenland for national security purposes while we're expanding the American empire. And then Cuba is probably next. Cuba's a good one because obviously they hate us. Obviously they work with the Russia and the Chinese, and we have a lot of Cuban immigrants here, and we could take Cuba and get rid of the pesky, Chinese and Russian influence there. And then we could send all of the Cubans back. King Charles next. That would be my play, okay? Because if we're really doing the American empire, okay, if we're really issuing in the golden age of an American world, excuse me. I mean, eventually, after we take Cuba and the rest of South America, because he also threatened Mexico as well, which is a good move. Like, listen, if we can take out Maduro in an evening, we can take out like all the cartels during brunch. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Are people asking for Jake to come on?
They are. They're asking for Jake's toes again.
Is it just his toes? Is that all that they want?
Yes, I think.
Well, I'm gonna have him come on and then not show his toes, because I think we have to kill that meme and we have to move it on to something else. So we have to have him on the entire time and just never mention his toes at all. And hopefully that works out. But yeah, if we're expanding the American empire, let's go for it.
I think you need to send the rabbi half of Rabbi Peely costume to Jake and make him wear the entire
Let's get BB next. Okay, baby steps. Okay, baby steps. That's never going to happen for reasons. Okay, for reasons. But one can dream.
Send an email and ask him.
All right. Let's get to some of you guys real fast. Lightsport for 2 says, "Oh boy, here I go killing again." CAG probably. Yeah, CAG do be enjoying that a little bit. Thank you, Lightsport. Appreciate you, sir. Subarctic Psycho, member for 9 months. 9 months of appreciating John. Yeah, lots of appreciating going on there, sir. Thank you, Subarctic. Appreciate it. You are now a birthed, after 9 months, you become a birthed member of the Focus Trip clan. Thank you, Subarctic Psycho. Jake, how's your day going, homie?
It's going fine. I'm not sure why everyone wanted me to come on. But
I don't know.
I'm here.
I don't. I don't know either. But it is fun. Hey, so let's get your take on the geopolitical situation unfolding in Venezuela right now. Okay.
I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna like cry over it. I don't necessarily think it's the best idea, but I'm not gonna cry over it. I don't really care. It's cool. There's a cool aesthetic to it. It's always cool to see our fucking taxpayer dollars being used for something productive or destructive, whatever. But I don't know.
Both, yeah.
I'm kind of
listen. If we had lost like 40 soldiers or a couple of helicopters, it would be a totally different story, right? But because we literally lost no one and just forced our will upon another nation that was like, you know, trying to posture and be like, oh, you Americans, you'll never take us down, you'll never get us, we're gonna give you another Vietnam, and then we folded them in 2 hours. Like, there's something that makes you proud to be an American. Okay, we still got lots of problems to fix here, but that element kind of cool.
I suppose that's right. I'm still not a huge fan of us just going into foreign wars. I get that there's like some argument to be made, but I do think it's like
war?
I mean, what would you call that war? What we just did? What would you call
raid?
it?
A raid, maybe?
I don't know, man. I guess.
Well, like
foreign conflict. How about that? Just like armed conflict.
Yeah,
just seems weird. I don't know.
Well, I'm actually fine with that as a concept, right? So let's say,
I guess,
like Yemeni pirates are shooting at our ships, right? And we just murk them. Like, I'm fine with that. Same thing. It's like they're running drug boats and they're, you know, working with the Russia and Chinese to move assets closer to the American border and to just destabilize the southern hemisphere.
I don't know if it was as much. I don't know if it was as much of like a, hey, we're doing this to cut back on the drug problem. I think it was more like, hey, this country is sending a bunch of drugs over here, so we're going to use it as an excuse to remove their leader. I think it's kind of just a bait and switch type of deal.
I think so. Now, the reason why this will probably work out a lot better than it did in the Middle East was the point of the Middle East was never to win. The point of the Middle East was to destabilize it, the entire region, for the benefit of Israel. Like, that's just what the purpose of us being in the Middle East was for the most part. Yeah. There's all sorts of ancillary reasons, of course, but this is like cut and dry what we're doing, and we're there to win, and we don't want to lose anybody. Right. So there's almost no negative repercussions from this event other than possibly more immigration, although there's going to be a reflux of people going back because there's already Venezuelans here in America that are super happy about it. They're dancing in the streets. They can't wait to go back to their homeland because, you know, some of these kids, they're like, oh, my parents got kicked out by Maduro. My grandparents got kicked out by Chavez. Right. We want to go back. We want to go back to our homeland now that it's free. Right.
Yeah. I suppose that makes sense. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I have to think about it a little longer. Give me like a month. I'll stew over it.
I totally get it too, because you might be proved right in the long run. You know, because if it turns out in like, I don't know, 6 months, it does turn into a slog Vietnam. And then Trump's like, you know what? We're actually going to put 10,000 Marines on the ground in Venezuela for 10 years. It's like, oh, great.
And now we have this. And then they inevitably prop up and install the another female Israeli loving president in South America for some reason. I'm not sure why that keeps happening.
They already have that in Mexico, and Trump threatened her the other day. Now, I did find it funny that, did you see there was, I think it was Cuba, Mexico, and a few other South American countries, and they were like, oh, we got to band together to fight the U.S. to make sure that they can't do something like this again.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Did you not see that, though? There was apparently this opposition leader. I'm sure you covered it in the last stream, or did you not? The opposition leader that was like the number one.
Yes, number one Israeli shill, 100%, kiss the wall, the whole 9 yards, and they're going to try and get her indexed. Although I'm not sure who's the acting in charge guy right now, because there is, like, he has a name. There is somebody acting in charge in Venezuela right now, even though there's probably
it's a female.
Oh, is it that girl?
Yes.
Yikes.
So it is that girl. She is actually assumed power now.
Yes.
Okay, actually, I have the post right here from the New York Post 7 hours ago. Let me pull this up. Venezuela's VP Delcy Rodriguez sworn in as interim president after Maduro's arrest. All right. Do we know anything about this chick? This is the one who said all those things about Israel.
I don't think that's the same one. No, I think it was
Okay.
the opposition party leader.
Okay, well, that's still better. Rodriguez, a 56-year-old labor lawyer known for close connections to the private sector and her devotion to the ruling party, was sworn in by her brother George. It's all nepotistic and, you know, insidious at this level. Who is the head of the National Assembly legislature? And this is her, strong female. Of course, a courtroom sketch of Maduro and Flores at their arraignment. Why are all these courtroom sketches like this? It's like they're comic artists.
Because they got to make it look goofy and silly.
Also sworn in on Monday were 283 lawmakers elected last May. Just a small number of them are classed as quote unquote opposition. Most of the opposition, especially the faction directed by Nobel Prize winner Machado, boycotted the contest. The only lawmaker not in attendance was First Lady Cecilia Flores, who is in U.S. custody. Yeah, so that is the acting president right now.
My thought on the whole doing this because of drug trafficking, like they're saying that Maduro is like deeply involved in this drug trafficking, like it's his main thing. So we decided to overthrow the government when we're not doing that with Mexico. But if Venezuela's if Venezuelan government's deeply involved,
that's why I don't think it's about the drugs. The drugs is a cover. The drugs is a cover. The real problem is that they seized $17 trillion worth of oil assets, and the U.S. government was like, we would much rather have that, which is fine. Geopolitically saying, I would rather the U.S. be in control of $17 trillion worth of oil rather than, you know, Russia or China or Iran or any of these other places. It's like, no, that oil belong to us now. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention in this matter. And yeah, I agree. Dude, now, if you actually are serious about the drug trade, you should just tomorrow afternoon, every single cartel boss should be dead.
That would make sense, right?
Just kill them. Like that's what I would do. It's just Sicario.
We could actually do that. Like if we had the stomach, we could do it. We just would rather do.
Well, it's about the money, right?
Games.
So the drugs is completely secondary. That's like pro optics, right? They're trying to make it look better or justify it morally. When if they just said, no, it's about $17 trillion in oil and geopolitically like hurting our enemies while bolstering up our own reserves, right? If they just said that, it's like, well, that's truthful. Because yeah, you're right. If they actually cared about the drug war, the drug trade, then they would just like take out every cartel leader tomorrow afternoon. It would just happen.
Call me jaded for like the way I view things after watching the global war on terror, right? Like that. I just
100%.
And looking back at like Vietnam, right? The kind of the false pretenses in which these things are started. It's just kind of, I'm over it, dude. I mean, this is great, I guess, because no Americans died and we accomplished something. I just don't really know exactly why we did the thing we did. I don't think the narrative that they're saying is the actual truth.
Yeah, you have to look past that. It's about the oil and it's about the geopolitical implications of it, right? Because Russia, Iran, and China getting a lot of oil, not all of their oil, but a lot of their oil from Venezuela. Venezuela having the largest share of oil in the world, right? And now it's ours, basically. And we've just that much of a power play, right? So I like if we had a real American imperium that wasn't this like gross, disgusting, corrupt entity in Washington, D.C., if we had a real American imperium, like I would be all for this sort of thing. It's like, again, Cuba is next and Greenland is after that. And we're going to buy, quote unquote, Greenland for 99 years.
We don't do that, though. Like, if we're going to be an empire, why don't we actually do it? We're just doing this, like, pseudo-empirical thing. We're just kind of edging it, but we're never actually going to do it. So we're going to, like, waste a bunch of money on it, make a few people really rich, but never actually gain anything. So then we kind of just screw ourselves over economically in the long run. I don't understand.
Well, yeah.
I do understand. It makes a lot of sense.
If you're asking yourself, how is this good for the average American citizen?
It's not.
That's a tougher question to answer, right? Geopolitically, you can say it makes sense, but how does this benefit like you and I day to day? Well, actually, gas prices did drop like 30 cents nationwide over the last like 3 days.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's like way down apparently. Rome posting IRL, true. And that's the thing though, if you want to do that, which is like, it'd be really cool, but you have to understand that our government is like horribly corrupt, evil, and incompetent. It's just that the US military, when it's utilized properly, can absolutely do whatever it needs to do. Right. And that's the one thing about, that's what everything is based off of. Not the only thing our currency is backed by, our diplomacy is backed by, is by the US military. Okay.
Yeah.
And so on the world stage, this is a flex, and this assures the rest of the world, while Russia is, barely managing against Ukraine, backed by the rest of the world, barely managing there, while China is not able to execute anything they want in Taiwan. The US just imposes its will as it wants, basically, right? So it's putting your dick on the table and asking everybody else to look at it, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yep. Tim Turk says gas by me went from $2.95 to $2.63 overnight.
I did not notice that. I feel like it stayed the same here, maybe because I just bought gas like 2 times this weekend, before and after. I don't know. Well, not before and after. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one, so I'll grant it for you. What's not so tough though, Jake, what's not so tough is Tim Walz won't seek re-election amid fraud scandal. Now, this is how bad American politics are. So we just talked about Venezuela and the scuffle over there, the operation, the raid, as it were. But in America, you can oversee the losing of, I think, $40 billion. So Minnesota had a surplus when Tim Walz entered of, I think, $20 billion, which is a lot of money for a state. Minnesota's not even like that big of a state, okay? And they had a net surplus of like $20 billion. Now, not only is that gone, but they've exposed up to $20 billion in fraud centered around Somalians, right? And the importation of these people that scam, right? And because of all of this, like, I feel like if you lose $40 billion of taxpayers' money, you don't get to resign, you get arrested. Like, I feel like if anybody else in a company had lost $40 billion, I feel like that should be at least investigated, right? And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. It's like you get to step away in shame, basically. You get to resign. You get to walk away from it all. You get removed from the server. Maybe in a just society, all right. Jail time should be proportional to the dollar amount. Yeah.
Major breaking political news out of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tim Walz will not seek re-election as governor, and what a fall from grace this has been for him.
Was Tim Walz ever in grace?
No.
So he's the governor of the neighboring state, Minnesota, sorry. And I don't know if I've ever met someone in real life who's ever talked about him positively. Even my relatives and family members who live over there, I don't actually know anyone that unironically likes Tim Walz. Like, even when he was running for vice president, I don't know if I've ever saw a single leftoid Redditor be like, Tim Walz is our guy. He's just like a bumbling, incompetent retard, and everyone knows it.
Yeah, he wasn't on my radar at all before the election, the whole Kamala Harris thing. And he was not impressive then, so I don't know what kind of grace he's fallen from. Kind of confused.
Yeah, losing $40 billion doesn't help that either.
No, it hasn't. And it's likely gone directly to like terrorist organizations, so that's cool.
I do like the idea, though, that, well, yes, and I don't know if we'll get into that, but the people leaving the country with bags filled with millions of dollars in cash heading to Somalia, where that money almost certainly got distributed to organizations that are known terrorist organizations. Now, I do like the idea, however, that Tim Walz getting bullied online and being called a retard IRL was part of his decision to resign. I like that idea in concept. I think that's very cool that we can just call somebody a retard so many times and actually affect their personal life to get them to resign or to get them to go away, like we just did with Vivek as well, which we'll be getting to a little bit later.
You might recall in the spring of 2023, he pushed through several progressive ideas to the state legislature that caught the attention of Barack Obama, who went to Twitter to give his endorsement for the programs, which eventually caught the attention of people like Kamala Harris, who chose him to be her running mate as the vice president. Introduced in Chicago at the convention in August of last year, a debate that was an absolute disaster with J.D. Vance at one point called himself a knucklehead, but after reportedly...
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that, dude. Yeah, I'm a bit of a knucklehead when talking about how he was friends with school shooters, which is funny considering, considering the school shootings that have happened in his state.
Strange thing to say.
Awkward. What an odd thing to say.
Billions of dollars have been stolen from taxpayers. By way of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz says he will not seek a third term. What a remarkable 2 years.
And that's it, dog. That's it for Tim Walz forever, dude. He's never doing anything else again. I feel like governors, maybe somebody can correct me historically, but I feel like governors specifically who lose out on a presidential election, they just kind of fade away after that. Because I think, is Ron DeSantis, he's still the governor of Florida, but he said he's not running.
I don't think he can run again. I think he's on his last term.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm not a Floridian, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I feel like they kind of just fade into obscurity after they lose a high profile election like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's not like a good look to lose the presidency.
No. And I mean, it's also not a good look to your constituents who, like, as you're attempting to lead your state, right, you're actively, catering to the rest of the nation, and you're not actually focused on your own state. Now, this is what I like. Okay, this is the sort of rhetoric that I wish was more effective. So this is Donald Trump. You're never getting the Epstein files. Okay, it's never happening. Give it up, bro. But he is posting about how 72%, of Somali households in the U.S. are on some form of government welfare. Now, I think that they need to, because a lot of them are here on refugee status, right, and TPS status, right. I feel like that needs to be 100% revoked, and they need to just all be deported at this point. Like every single one.
I feel like half of them are here and we don't even know about it. So,
well, but I do like that, sitting president of the United States is actively calling out a specific racial group as like, these guys are the problem. Look at how lazy these people are. Look at how incompetent these people are. These people should not be here. They don't like us. They should all go home.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is obviously a problem, but I feel like the percentage of the population that Somalis make up is completely dwarfed by a different population that is arguably way more of a problem and way more of a drain.
It is true. That's true. But there's about
that would
450.
That would be super bad if Trump came on here and said, did you guys know that 99% of blacks in this country are on welfare? They're draining the system. That would not look good for President Trump. I think a lot of conservatives would not like that. I would think it would be funny, but...
Well, I don't care if it would be funny or upset people. It's the fact that it's true that's the problem, right?
It is true.
It is true. But the problem with Somalis is they were imported here, right? So that's the other thing, is that they were imported here.
Well, John.
Okay, on a long enough time scale, okay, they were also imported here. Okay? But no, listen, 500,000 Somalis, visa status revoked, citizenship revoked. That is a huge win because these people have huge broods of children, and it's a massive problem. You might think right now, oh, well, it's only 250,000 or 500,000. I think it's 400,000 roughly, but give it a couple generations and it's like, oh no, they own the state of Minnesota as they're already one of the power voting blocks in Minnesota, and they're going to reach out from there. because they act almost like a hive mind. Okay, they don't have your Western individual enlightenment. They do not have that. All right, they vote like a tribe. They
Are
vote
we
against
actually-
your interests.
So there was this big fuss in the media about how they were going to start just going through the neighborhoods and deporting the Somalis. Is that actually happening, or is that just like a?
Well, we'll get through the rest of this because this is kind of in the same vein of Tim Walz and Somalians. So Trump says Somalis will now be deported, saying Ilhan Omar should be deported along with the other fraudsters. Like, Ilhan Omar is just an open and shut case, in my opinion. I get that she's in Congress, and it might look like you're strong arming your political opponents, but she's actually just a criminal who married her brother and illegally got them all over here. Like, she's actually just a criminal. So I don't know why the fact that she's in Congress allows her to not get indicted or deported. She shouldn't be an American citizen. She's not American. She and her entire family should be deported. Like, that's just what should happen. Trump also asserting that Tim Walz will quote unquote pay. Now, the problem with Trump and saying anything is that he never, I shouldn't say never, okay, because sometimes he does things. All right, it's true. Sometimes, you steal a president in the middle of the night, but it feels like we get something like that, but you won't deport a lying criminal, like, who should not even be here in Ilhan Omar. You'll do the really hard thing and spend like $1 billion getting one president, but we won't just deport people who are here illegally. You won't just crack down on fraudsters. You won't just arrest people who steal from the American taxpayer. You could argue that it's all stolen from the American taxpayer, of course.
Yeah.
And I mean, even back in 2016 when he was running, we're going to lock her up. Very famously, he says a lot, does very little.
Yes, he is the king of making a lot of promises and never keeping any of them, but for some reason his base is still just like extremely diehard supportive of him. I don't know.
Cult of personality,
if you actually look at Trump's record, yeah, he's gotten some stuff done, some relatively larger things, but in the end, he's not really done anything great. And he's probably been worse for gun rights, at least in his first term. He was worse for gun rights than Joe Biden was, which is funny.
Well, Joe Biden, this is what usually happens. Democrats try to get things passed. Republicans do get things passed.
Is it even trying, though? If Joe Biden just goes out on the White House lawns and says, I call on the Senate to ban assault weapons and high magazine clips.
In effect, what actually happens is Democrats don't pass anything and are good gun salesmen.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans do pass things that are bad for guns and are bad gun salesmen. So it's like this weird inverse world in which we live in, where because there's like sound and fury while Democrats are in power, gun sales go way up. But then when a Republican is in power, people don't pay attention. So stupid little gun control goes through. And then they're at the same time still bad at selling guns. Now, I say that while we have gotten the biggest win against the NFA in quite literally a century.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I say that. Also, I did reach out to a bunch of different suppressor companies to ask them, like, hey, what are your sales numbers end of December, early January? What's the difference? Yeah. Nobody responded to me. Okay. So maybe people don't like talking to me. Nobody responded to my request for comment. I'm
going to go out on a limb and say they're probably busy and they don't care about you.
We might be very busy, but I would like to know a number. Like if they told me, dude, sales are up 400% in January, because even since the e-forms were out and the wait time was like, a week to 30 days, it was something like in 2023 and 2024, like we sold more suppressors than we had in the previous like decade or century even. It was something insane.
Yeah, I know a couple people in suppressor industry. You know one of them, so we can figure that out. But I know one guy who I think he said he processed like 2,000 e-forms between like yesterday and January 1st. So I don't know. That's pretty wild.
And insane, because I know like some people, even some of the guys in the chat were like, oh yeah, I did 10 e-form once. 10 of them? It's like, yeah, I did. Yeah. They're free now, dude.
Yeah, I registered a bunch of oil filters. It's so based.
I registered my potatoes. I registered this can of Ghost. This is now a legal suppressor in the state of South Dakota.
Don't show it on stream, John. Come on, dude.
I can
trying to get the stream, dude.
It's legal, bro. It's
Showing
legal,
suppressors.
bro. Yeah, that's right. No, suppressors are fine.
Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only, because she's not that smart. But think of it. $19 billion at least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Waltz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Trump and I had the power to do so, right? And I keep making the mistake of thinking that we have somebody in power that actually wants what's best for the American people. I'm very sorry for making that mistake, but I would just freeze all of the payments until they can prove that they're going the right places, right? I feel like that should be within your power. Just withhold all federal funding, just for fun. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. Just do it for fun. A Helix says January 1 had about 150,000 form submissions. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying, dude. 150,000. People were stacking up for months, though. For months, because that was announced back in like June, right? Or like July. I think it was July. Yeah, 4th of July. That's when it got signed. So yeah, it was people were stacking up, waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah. Talking about the Illinois governor being a big slob. Very true. Very true.
I do love Trump says some funny stuff sometimes. Some real gold. Sometimes it's coal. Then sometimes there's just like a nice little gold nugget in there.
Little gem, as the kids say. Little gem among all the slop. A gem. All right. Moving on from there. Yeah. So this had to make the thumbnail because I'm also from the Upper Midwest. I'm from the Upper Midwest, and I say to port them all.
I'm the Middle Midwest, and I also say that.
Well, so this is what happened just a little while ago, though, that I wanted to mention. So 2,000 more federal agents are going to Minneapolis in a crackdown fraud probe, CBS. So this is this could potentially be big. If you have 2,000 ICE agents or 2,000 whatever they might be going door to door to all of the healthcare, to all of the daycare, to all of the autism centers, and you have, because that's what it has to be. It has to be real physical people on the ground where they can't tell you no. Because the Somali daycares, they can just close the door and say, go away, get up our property, or whatever they babble on at you, right, as they try and shoo you away. But like ICE or any sort of these real federal agents with real authority, if they can come and just break down your door and say, nope, you're showing us all the records and you're proving that you're getting the money you deserve, which is $0, by the way. And so I hope that this actually does make a change, because I feel like 2,000 guys, like 2,000 fraud enforcement agents or whatever else it might be that are going down there can make a really big difference. Because even if you split them up into teams of like 5 or 10, you can go to hundreds of places like every week. You can and enforce too.
Yeah, and I think obviously they'll have a bunch of people working with them. So I don't think it's just the 2,000 federal agents doing work. They're going to be working with local like sheriffs and whatnot.
You would hope so, but I'm saying even if you sent them in groups of 10, right? There's still 200 separate units going door to door, right? And that's what I want. That's what I want to see. I want to see mass arrests. I want to see mass incarcerations. I want to see mass deportations. People say you can't incarcerate your way out of crime, and then countries just actually incarcerate their way out of crime. Surprise, surprise, people stop committing crimes when they're locked up.
What about China? China doesn't seem to have a lot of problems with crime. North Korea, don't they just like mulch people when they commit crimes there?
China, well, yeah, North Korea, absolutely. China has camps in which you concentrate in, and then you make product for the glorious state of China.
It works. What's that crime? What crime do you have to commit to go to those camps? Being a Muslim? Is that what it is?
Yeah, being a Muslim. Yeah, being born the wrong skin. It's
You
like
too
China.
brown. You too brown. You go to
China.
camp.
It's funny. China has like 37 different ethnic groups in China, right? Which is like the lie that people say when people are like, oh no, China's actually diverse. You wouldn't get it, Chud. And then you look at the population, it's like 91% Han. The other 37 groups are like 0.1% each. And then they're all like ostracized from the community or put in camps or
they have
in
a nice
certain
little
regions.
space. They have a nice little space set aside for themselves. With a nice
it's
big
30,
tall
37 ethnic groups. I think it's like 91% Han, but it's a big number. It's the dominating majority is Han. Zanico, I'll have you know that Jake actually has a good chin jawline. All right, you can take it from me. He's not a chin cuck. Yeah, this is 100% what I voted for. Please get rid of all of them. Please investigate all of them. Actually do something. Now, speaking of actually doing something, Vivek Ramaswamy was bullied off of Twitter, and you're laughing.
Yay.
Yes, I am. Tony Rigatoni, we have literally bullied Vivek off of Twitter. This is an article that Vivek put up today by Vivek Ramaswamy. Why social media is a trap for politicians. I'm swearing off Instagram and X, where it's too easy to get a distorted sense of the public's concern. The people are concerned that you're brown, and they would like you to not be. Please go away. Please stop scamming the American public. Please stop trying to import more of your ilk into the country over hardworking Americans, you disgusting person. All right, I'll be nice. Please go away. Now, if you don't know...
I like the Sam Hyde quote where he's talking about, I think he's talking about, what's his name? Kash Patel.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Charlie Kirk episode. He's like, Kash Patel, load him up on a whatever C-707 Globemaster something or other and go just drop him off in India. I like that. I like that clip, and I think I agree with it. And I would include a few more other political people.
Yeah,
is
a bunch
Vivek
of
a
them.
politician? He's running for office.
He's running for the governor of Ohio. Okay,
Yeah.
and it is very important that he does not win that, so that he does not. If he wins Ohio, he's just going to pass stuff to get more of these retarded people in, and we do not want. Sorry, we want exactly 0 H-1Bs unless they're white South Africans.
You know what I would love,
That's
John?
it.
I would
Go
love
for
it if all these apparently invaluable, super talented Indian people that we just have to bring over here because they're just irreplaceable. Imagine if they stayed in their own country and like did everything they could to make it a good place.
Imagine if they weren't lying scammers and disgusting thieves. Imagine that for just a second, because it is Schrodinger's immigrant. Simultaneously, they are the best and the brightest, and we need them to fix our country. Yet at the same time, curiously, they can't
cannot
fix
keep their
or
country
improve
together.
their own country. Curious, is it not? It seems like we have a functioning country with things like infrastructure, schools, and hospitals that are doing quite well.
Yeah.
You know, so why would we import more of you problematic, disgusting people here when it seems like we're actually better without you?
I mean,
right?
with all the doctors and engineers they have, you'd think they would have like good infrastructure and like good healthcare. People wouldn't just like die all the time from illnesses that have been eradicated in the West for like
Why don't we just check in on your holy river? Certainly you guys treat your holy river with respect. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't. Oh, you can die from drinking its water. Oh, you can't even see it half the time because it's filled with like literal shit and garbage, right?
And bodies.
Surprise,
Dead
surprise.
bodies.
Nobody. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to get into that. When your natural predator is a train, maybe I feel like you're not a good fit over here. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Now, this is funny. This is from Vivek, right? Fact check true. Friendly note to those trying to push defamatory lies. Save your records and don't delete them. Happy New Year in advance. So this is Vivek around New Year, alluding to the fact that he's going to sue people for defaming him, which is very funny. So if you don't know, Jonathan Ewing, here we go again. The truth is that Vivek achieved success by improving people's lives. He led Rayovan. This is obviously a lie. one of the few biotech companies founded in the 21st century with currently a $10 billion market cap. They develop life-saving and life-changing therapies, 5 of which the FDA approved. Now, you go through all of this and you're like, actually, none of that's true. For context, it is admitted that Vivek acquired the Alzheimer's drug company after failing stage 2 clinical trials. His mother then ran her own phase 2 clinical trials, which were successful, leading to a flood of investment before eventually failing stage 3. So Vivek bought a company or invested in a company that he knew was bad. He knew was bad. They had already failed a stage 2 trial, right? They were dead in the water. They were done. But by faking or essentially trying to getting another stage 2 trial of the same thing, getting that through, it appeared to investors like there was some possibility to it, that it might actually go through, that it might actually come to market, which would mean billions or trillions of dollars for a true Alzheimer's drug, right? Something that would fix that or reverse that, because there's big money in that. People don't like watching their dad, their mom, their grandma, their sister, their brother fall into Alzheimer's and forget who they are, right?
Yeah.
Forget their loved ones, right? So this is literally preying upon people's like deepest insecurities and fears, right? So Vivek, knowing that the drug had already failed a previous clinical trial, somehow got it through another one, got a bunch of investors, and then of course it failed the stage 3 trial. Of course it did. It had already failed the stage 2 trial. So there was no chance of this going through. He scammed a bunch of investors that were, I guess, trying to make money on this Alzheimer's drug. So he scammed a bunch of rich people out of money. Surprise, surprise. That's how Vivek came into his wealth.
Isn't that like 99% of pharmaceutical industry? Just like making products that you know are going to fail, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to make gazillions of dollars.
If you can get people to invest, yeah. Now this is Casey Pooch, who's actually running against him. Says Ohio should not have to live with a governor who sues dissenting voices. This is America, and we believe in free speech. At this point, we just don't like you, and I have the receipts to show that. Reject Vivek, vote Pooch. And if you are in Ohio, I would, funny place, right? Meme name, Ohio.
Skibbity Ohio.
Yeah, you should absolutely vote for Casey Pooch instead. And Pooch has been really good on social media and absolutely murdering Vivek. Vivek has absolutely lost any sort of Trumpian base he might have managed to scrape off and scam off. But yeah, Vivek needs to go away, preferably permanently, like back to your own country. I don't mean in Minecraft. I mean, you can go scam your own country people out of quadrillions of dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
You can go do that back there. I feel like you'd be very successful over there scamming your own people.
Figure out a way to turn cow poop into like cancer medicine and you'll be rolling in it, bro. Trust.
Literally, dude. Literally rolling in it, bro. Now here, okay. That was world news. That was our segment on geopolitics. How about cut up AR upper receivers? How about something fun? We're actually going to talk about gun stuff for a minute. We have some wacky little gun stuff to get into. But before we do, we have a lot of support for you guys to get to. I see you asked to grind. I'll answer your question in just a second.
He never
where should we
forgets.
start? Okay, I need to text Mike again. Over on Ko-Fi, Bushmaster says, look up Operation Acid Gambit. It's very, very similar. I will have to write that down. Operation Acid Gambit. Yeah, 1989 in Panama. Yes, we've seen that one. We've talked about that one before. Thank you, Bushmaster. Appreciate that, sir. Over on Ko-Fi, Mad Mel becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep. Polly B says, Ari, the tranny nut check. A great irony of gender affirming surgery is that they're totally reliant on the very capitalist system they purport to hate. They cannot exist without constant medical services and hormonal drugs to maintain the delusion and signal their ideological shit liberalism. I agree 100%. A transvestite is the perfect pay piggy in the capitalist system. You are never going to get off drugs. You are never going to not need care for your axe wound chop job. You are never going to be free of the medical system ever.
Isn't that ideal though
forever.
For them? It's ideal for them though, because then they're a lifelong victim.
Well, right. It works out with their delusion, of course. But then there also are literal like capitalist goy cattle, and they just get milked for the rest of their life. All right. Paulie again says, hot take, bombing Chavez mausoleum is actually what I hate most about this op. It was gaudy, kitschy, rubbish, yes, but bombing it was Jew-coded pettiness and internecine drama. Venezuela, fun fact, doesn't have a Rothschild bank, and Maduro is Sephardic in extraction. Now, that I've heard as well. I absolutely believe that coming out of this, Venezuela will have a Rothschild bank installed at some point for sure. You can't stay off of it for too long. All right. Everybody falls to the banking system. But as far as bombing it, like, I think we should normalize desecration of communist graves and mausoleums and whatnot. We shouldn't allow idols of evil people to stay. Like, eventually when we retake America and actually kickstart the American Imperium, the Christian American Imperium, I should say, we are going to tear down all of the 90-foot idol statues in America as well. We'll start here though, and we're going to get rid of all of them because that's where they belong. They're dead. They're gross. They're gone soon enough. Todd and Dogs over on Ko-Fi says, I'm cool with fake boomer imperialism. Just don't tell me I have to live under Jewish Noahide laws with brown skin immigration and Niger no-go zones in the U.S. Funny thing about that, Todd and Dogs, is we already have all of those things. Noahide laws were signed by Congress in 1987, and we have brown skin immigration, and we have places that have a certain group of population that you should absolutely not go to. So, unfortunately, Todd and Dogs, we already have all of those things. Lightsport for 2 says, Scions, my beloved. Yes. One of your favorite little chapters. Zanika for 2 says, just show your toes. It's not that big of a deal. No toe talk. No toe talk here, ladies and gentlemen. Doc the Og Enjoyer for 5 says, for being on time. Well, thank you. $5 for being on time. I'll be on time more often. Appreciate that, Doc. Andrew Webb for 5 says, kind of like how we're embracing the Monroe Doctrine. I believe you mean the Donroe Doctrine. The Donroe Doctrine, all right? And flexing on our hemisphere because it's ours to rule. That's right. You know, again, I wish we were the country that Japan thought we were, or some of these other countries thought we were, or even a leftist on Twitter thinks we are.
Yeah, I wish we were actually based. Then I would probably be a little more happy about this.
Manifest destiny. We will free you from tyranny. We will exercise authority over the whole universe. Not just this. I'm not stopping at Earth. All right. The universe, all right, is ours. Thank you, Andrew Webb. Appreciate that. Donzel for 5 says, Donzel T, AK Bert, would you still recommend a Wolf T91 16-inch or 14.5 from the Atlantic site? Sorry if I'm spanning. You keep asking about the T91 uppers. I think they're cool. They make some aftermarket handguards that you can get. I think they're fun to shoot. They're soft shooting. You know, as far as like a go-to-war gun, absolutely not. But if you want something different that's cool, that's going to run, like, they're pretty good systems. All right. So, Donzel, I hope that answers your question. I think they're cool. Thank you, Donzel. But if you're just looking for a good, like, first AR, just get a regular AR, dude. That's I know it's boring, but that's my recommendation to everybody. Coral Weezer, member for 6 months, says he should get a Fab Defense Magwell grip tattooed. Very true. Jake, did you see this earlier?
I did, yeah. I was
good.
standing in front of my TV back there. I was doing the 9/11 thing. Like, oh no, they hit the tower.
Oh no, that was the second tower.
Yeah, that's so bad. Also, why does the mag? It looks like it's like a 7.62.
It is. It is. Maxim makes one of those. Maxim makes a 5.5 inch 7.60 by 39.
Kind of disgusting. Like, also on the forehead, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I hope it's AI. I really hope it's AI.
I don't think it is.
Rogue Centurion for 5 says we've already experienced 4 years of Trump in just 2025, and it looks like it's not slowing down. God bless Trip and Co. Thank you very much, John. I hope you have a wonderful night, sir. Thank you for the 5.
Okay, it has a brace on it too.
Well, it has, yeah, it's the Maxim RDB, you know, buffer system, or whatever it's called, whatever their buffer system is. We need Matt Pranka and ModTac Shooting to take on this. Matt's not going to talk about it, but when if I get Matt back on, and I might ask him about it and say, oh, what do you think about it? Think it was cool? But Matt might be one of those guys who is not even going to be allowed to talk about it in any way, shape, or form, because you never know. All right. You never know what some of the influence or interactions these people have with certain units. Okay. Thank you.
Matt was there, actually.
Well, I mean, Matt's talked about how I believe that he's talked about this, so I might be wrong about this. So Matt, don't kill me if you see me at SHOT Show. I don't think he's going to be there, but that he was in charge of some of the training for his unit. So he was the person who introduced like Ben Steger to some of the guys, and that's why, for the shooting aspect. So I'm not sure if he's still involved in some sort of training capacity or in some sort of leadership capacity, but he is probably not at liberty to speak one way or the other. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm sorry. I wonder if there were, do you think they were using those Andro Catboy helmets for this raid?
It was live streamed. It was live streamed to Trump.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine.
So that's what I want, dude. It would be cool though. Maduro,
Imagine he's got like
Maduro looks up in the dark and he sees just like
a bunch
the
of
visor.
Catboys.
Yeah.
They're going.
You're coming with us now. Andrew Webb for 5 says, anyone notice that they kicked all the press out of the Pentagon? No leaks have happened since.
Very true.
Yeah. Press don't need to be there. Lightsport for 2 says Stinger is better than the Igla. Western firepower stay winning. True. Yeah, I'm very, very happy that none of the Venezuelan anti-air was effective in any way, shape, or form. Over on Ko-Fi, Director for 10 says, Jake, I support you not showing your toes. Also, John, did you see my Subscribe Star message? Yes, I did. I am doing the Subscribe Star giveaway tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow, and I have extra stuff for you, specifically, Director Fury. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Paulie B for 10 says, not going to lie, Trump lost me the last many months. Well, yeah, he's lost I don't know if many people in the chat are like MAGA people, right? And I wouldn't consider any of us MAGA people. It's like, if there's something that's optically cool, great. If he actually does something that benefits Americans, also great, right?
Yeah, I think this is not the demographic for MAGA.
Yeah.
I'll just call balls and strikes. If he does something based, it's based. If Joe Biden did something based, it's based. I'll call it.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Trump lost me the last many months, but dude looks like Caesar in side profile. Can't hate that stone cold, no tie look, taking El Presidente from the park. He has one El Presidente. Yeah. The government doesn't want you to know this, but foreign presidents are free. You can just take them. Trump has one. Thank you, Paulie B. I appreciate that. Trump is too old, though, okay? Listen, I know a lot of people in 2016 were like, Trump is the guy. Like in 2020, they were like, Trump is going to cross the Rubicon. I know people who are hard believers, okay? Trump is not the guy. He's too old. He's also in bed with all the wrong people, literally and figuratively, okay? But Trump is not that guy. Not that guy. A man guy dude, Pertu says he was too dangerous. He wasn't an Israel puppet. Well,
Yes.
there is that. See, there's good and bad things with all of it. Bad immigration, bad, probably an Israeli puppet, somebody who is, central bank. There's going to be, something that's going to be involved with that side of the world for sure. Okay. But you can still take the good with the bad. Thank you, man guy dude. Valley of the Sin became a new member. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Andrew Webb Pretend says, in reference to the providence of no effective AA fire, may I remind all of the last verse of our anthem, then conquer we must when our cause is just. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Andrew Webb. Cotton Dogs for 2 says Chavez and Maduro exposed juice relation to the USA. Well, so it's kind of like the yin and yang thing, right? Within evil people, there's often a line of baseness. Okay. So when they call out the JP, let's say in America, it's like, oh, based, while at the same time being evil, hypocrite dictators in their own country. Right. So, I mean, you can give them a +1 in the base category, but they're still like way in the cringe overall. But I agree with that, Tom Dogs. Amrite Boy for 2 says rings or mount. SLX 1-6 Nova 18-inch AR. Oh, you want to mount. Not only because it's one piece and it's stronger, but also it doesn't look hideous. That's my take on it. If it looks bad, don't do it. So yeah, get them out. Thank you, right boy. Todd Dogs for 2 says, fentanyl story, same as WMD story, wash, rinse, repeat. I think there's an element of that for sure, how it's kind of cringe. You know, it's like, that's not the real, tell me the real reason, all right? Stealth for 5 says, this could turn out great. There's no reason it couldn't turn out fine. If it doesn't, Americans won't really have to deal with it. We are the superpower. Right, but let's, you can war game it, right? So you can say, what happens if this actually does go really bad? What's the worst case scenario, okay? Worst case scenario, massive civil war erupts in Venezuela, destabilizing the entire region. America sends 10,000 troops, 100,000 troops as soldiers on the ground to take control of the situation, and we get a flood
10 million Browns.
10 million Browns flooding northward to the American southern border, right? Not to mention we get involved not just in a snatch and grab, right, which was executed perfectly, right? But now we have a forever war in South America. We have South American GWAT, where every few months our soldiers get bombed or blown up or killed in a terrorist attack.
Yeah, which is also much closer to home. So the possibility for that spilling over into the homeland and like isolated attacks.
Well,
would be
we have gangs. We have Venezuelan gangs here.
Yeah.
That keep in mind that we already have Venezuelan gangs or terror cells here in America.
Yeah,
for sure. Thank you, Stealth. I appreciate that. We pray it goes well, though. Sabardic Psycho for 5 says, goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Sabardic. My heart goes out to you. Good, sir. Appreciate you much. Todd Dogs for 2 says, invade narco states today. Noah laws tomorrow. There seems to be a correlation there between the American power output and the support of certain foreign nations, for sure. Although, again, if we're doing the fake Imperium thing, like Mexico, Cuba, and Greenland, please. Like, there should be no South American country above the Panama Canal. How about that? America should stop at the Panama Canal. I mean, it really shouldn't stop there, but America writ large should stop there.
I mean, didn't we own the Panama Canal? Whatever happened with that?
That's gay. Yeah, no, I would take Mexico all the way down to the Panama Canal, and then I would push them all to South America. It's like, we have a literal country for you guys, continent for you guys. Live there. You'll be fine. Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Sabardic Psycho for 5 says, I will be happy to colonize Greenland. Send us Alaskans. I want to hunt polar bears. Yeah, I feel like we could get Greenland for really cheap. Really cheap. Thank you, Sabardic Psycho.
Is there anything up there?
There's people geographically. It's a buffer between Russia and us, right? So it's very important geographically. In terms of resources, I'm not aware of its resource rich. It doesn't have that many people. It's like 1 million people. I don't know the exact number. Okay, it's very small though.
I'd be surprised if it was 1 million.
Greenland population. So I feel like we could get a 99-year lease on it for really cheap. Greenland population it's so small it does not automatically pop up.
56 to 57,000.
I thought it was more than that. That's funny, dude. Yeah, it says 58K as of 2022. That's crazy, dude.
And
that's so funny.
It's 836,000 square miles.
Well, yeah, but people only live in like a few square miles on the coast, dude.
It's a lot of land. I'm thinking of a lot of servers that we can build, a lot of AI data
true.
centers.
Actually, that's true. And it's naturally cold. No external cooling solution needed. Yeah.
Thank you, Lightsport. Is this a genius move?
I think it's good. Lightsport for 2 says, get my favorite gender fluid person, Jake, on. Yeah, Jake, what gender are you right now?
I'm a man. I've always been a man. Lightsport is my homie. Please don't disrespect me like that.
Always?
Anymore, Lightsport, or else I won't play Arma with you.
Zanico for 2 says, Jake's toes are overrated. Are you offended by that, Jake?
No, I agree. I really do agree with that. It's a new year, new me. That's all I'll say to that. No more toes. Sure. I cut them off. They're gone.
Ryan Gopchis for 2 says, I gotta poop. All right, fair enough. Thank you, Ryan Gopchi. Zanico for 2 says, filling a Form 1 took longer than that raid. That's if you're slow, dude. I mean, come on. I ain't gonna fill out a 4-month fast, man. Thank you, Zany Cope. Huge Ass for 5 says, Jake, I don't like wars. My brother, I've taken dumps that lasted longer than that raid.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't specifically talking about that raid. More so talking about the future of this conflict, because we don't know what's going to happen. We literally don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Kim Jong-un, thick girl enjoyer, member for 3 months, says Trench still found a way not to deploy. Well, Trench isn't even he's not in the Air Force, Marines, or Delta. So how could he deploy there, dude? Didn't even get a chance to, bro. Thank you, Kim. Lightsport for 2 says COD Ghost timeline to type. Yeah, true.
Yes.
True. They're gonna announce like next year, oh, by the way, we've had these WMDs in space for like a decade. We just didn't want to tell anyone. Stealth for 2 says we now own the largest oil reserve in the world. True. All your oil are belong to us now. Thank you, Stealth. Kim for 2 says Trench getting his tallywhacker kicked is funny. You guys are mean. Thank you, Kim. Jim Eagle for 2 says in before 50K Venezuelan Marine babies. Not good. Well, okay, yeah, they that
quick.
They were asked to F up the opposition, and the Marines took that in multiple directions. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Jim.
God bless the Marine Corps.
Zanico for 2 says mute Jake, unmute Richard. I haven't touched Richard. I think Richard died.
He's probably
Zanico, thank you. Kim Jong-un for 2 says, imagine having a commie in a helo and no tossing him. That's true. Where's Pinochet when you need him? Imagine one of the Delta guys like, oh, just like holding him over the edge. Whoa, oh, I got you. Oh, no, no. Whoa, watch it. Thank you, Kim. Kim for 2 says, we needed oil to survive, literally. Well, I think that, again, geopolitically, it is good for us to have the oil and not Russia, China, or Iran. I think it is long-term good for us.
I also love the idea of having to go get oil other places when we have a metric ass load of oil here that we just refuse to use for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's the technical term too.
Yes,
Vandalay, member for 6 months, says, I don't care, brother. What's good about this coup? Tell me what's good about this coup.
You're cutting me off and now you don't care. I can't keep up.
Oh, I don't fucking care, brother. Come on.
Okay, great, but
what's
just
good about the goddamn...
You know what's funny is that's actually Delta screaming into the void. Tell me what's good about this security detail. As they're like killing them and just bending them over. Yeah, Cuba did not send their best bodyguards. Joshua Howard for 5 says, Jake, yeah, they're lying about it, but why is it? But it's still pretty dope. Let's just enjoy a little win, please.
No, 100%. It was very entertaining to watch. I always think it's cool to see that stuff happening. I can just like suspend my critical thinking and say, oh, who cares what's happening? Yeah. Who cares if this is going to be really bad down the road?
Joshua for 2 says Jake can find a cloud in every silver lining.
Whatever that means.
Well, I mean, listen, the silver lining only exists because of the cloud, okay? And Jake is going to point it out to you. Well, I mean, realistically, I think that we're seeing the empire has cracks. The empire is falling into obscurity, right? It is the dogs fighting over the bones of something that could have been great. All right. And it's going to need some sort of reformation. We still have power. Obviously, we can still exercise power, but we are not far away from some sort of internal conflict either. So it's kind of a race against time to see what's going to happen first. Are we going to fall to some sort of external power or some sort of internal conflict? Right. So I feel like in a weird way, if you wanted to keep the American quote unquote experiment together for longer, we need a unifying force. We need something to actually do, because otherwise we are just going to fall into infighting and, actually having to look inwards and fix our own problems at home, which they desperately want to avoid as long as possible.
Yeah, I feel like the problems at home are they're never dealt with, but they're used as a cudgel to divide people, and like it's for political stuff. And then the problems abroad are what's used for like cohesion. So they kind of like they're on this little teeter-totter. They have to keep us from falling off. Existential global crisis, political issues at home. Oh, they're about to riot,
Well, and this has been used throughout history, right? Like day after 9/11, Bush has an 85% approval rating, right?
Yeah.
The burning of the Reichstag was a false flag. Hitler rises to power, right? I mean, this sort of thing happens all the time. You could even say that Pearl Harbor was kind of an inside job, and we kind of knew it was coming, and then it was used to get us into the war, right? I mean, things are allowed to happen, all right?
Yes.
Things are allowed
There's
to
war
take
in Europe.
place.
There's war in Europe. We have to go kill those dang Japs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's like, oh, the Japanese attacked us. All right, deploy everyone to Normandy now.
Why? Why did they attack us?
Why'd they do that? A little bit of an oopsie. Paulie B for 2 says, Vivek quits X. Gentlemen, we got him. Yeah, please never come back. Thank you, Vivek. Rob over on Ko-Fi says, we need to put boots on the ground and export 100% of the Venezuelan women that could get a NEN pass. An NEN pass? What is a NEN pass? Am I stupid? I don't even know what this word is.
How is it spelled?
AHNEN pass.
I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, proof of Aryan identity. I did not know that. This was something from Germany in World War II. Okay. All right.
That's deep lore. That is some deep lore. I've literally never heard that in my life.
It is a ancestor passport. So this is true, though. Okay, if you look at a lot of South American countries, and you see like a beautiful blonde girl or something like that, it's like it's just a German. It's just a Dutch girl, right? It's just European girls, right? So yeah, actually true. Yes, extract all of the European women from Venezuela immediately. Thank you for that, by the way. That was very goated lore, Rob. Goated lore. JTS Big Life for 2 says Casey, the car guy, is running against Vivek. Literally anybody, literally any human being against Vivek. Okay, literally any other breathing human being against Vivek. Moonman for 5 says Vivek could invest in a company that can cure cancer and he still has to go. Well, that's the thing, though. He would invest in a company that claims to have the cure for cancer, but is actually faking it to drum up investment to then pull the rug on them, which is what Vivek did, except with Alzheimer's instead. And Axelrand for 2 says, Mr. Mahalski, I need to message him. I have not heard back from him since Friday. So I'll message him and I'll be like, hey, anytime this week work good for you, just let me know. And we'll see what happens.
We would love to have Mike Wazowski on the podcast. It would be very enlightening and fantastic.
They did. I got a tracking notification today for their Mark 1 rifle. So that part he was still truthful about. So they didn't renege on that. Okay. They were not acting niggardly when it came to their Mark 1 rifle.
Oh my. That's a fun word.
Niggardly is the real term. Like you.
I know. Yeah. You can renege on something. It's just a funny thing to say in the year 2025.
You know, what's his face? There's a funny clip of Bernie Sanders saying niggardly.
Interesting. I think Joe Biden said that once too.
He said the real one. Okay, let's be real. He's old enough to remember. Okay, he thought Jim Crow was a good idea. He was like 10 years old back then, being like, "Yeah, that's right. You can't come in here."
Corn Pop lived with the family. He couldn't leave. He wasn't allowed to leave.
Bomani Igloo for 5 says that pic of Hegseth when you were discussing the 1-to-1 model makes him look incredibly based and Reich-pilled just needs Hugo Boss. Let me see, which one is that? Because Hegseth, he goes between looking like a kind of like drunken frat boy to like powerful military leader, depending on where and what he's doing. Let me see if I can.
He's like the right Gavin Newsom. He's the silver-haired pretty boy who's kind of.
That's right.
Kind of has. I don't know, man. I think he's generally okay, but then sometimes I'm just like, this guy kind of freaks me out.
I like how when his shirtless pics, right, where he's like working out, he looks fine for like a 50-year-old man. And people were like, oh, he's got Nazi tattoos on him. It's like, you mean the cross? It's like, excuse me? Excuse me?
That one little known Nazi symbol, the cross.
Yeah. Cloneman for 5 says, any recommendations on a good 14.5 barrel for a Block 2 inspired build? Well, depending on your budget, okay? So Block 2 inspired means you need a little bit longer of a gas journal. So I think a Geisley 14.5 mid would work. I think that would work. Criterion Hybrid 14.5 would also work. And then if you want something a little cheaper, just get a Roscoe Bloodline. Okay, if you're looking for something cheaper, Roscoe Bloodline going to do all the things you want it to do and work just fine. So that's
Roscoe
my
Bloodline, #1 barrel.
Very good barrel. $99 on sale, dude. They're very good. Moonman for 5 says, if I am hopeful, Trump is just a series of chancellors before the painter. That realistically, painter aside, realistically, that is kind of how I view Trump. All right. Trump is a little bit of a populist revolt against the system. Okay. He is outside of the system in a lot of ways, even though in reality he's a part of the system. But the people view him as something different and they want something different. So he's kind of a sign of things to come.
Yes.
Because either we have somebody like Kamala, right? And then it's just accelerate to the bottom. That's what Kamala is. It's it's a race to the bottom. It's like, all right, race war now or something like that, basically. But I think so. He isn't and can never be the painter. Well, I don't think we're getting a painter. I don't think the painter was the painter. I think people like the idea of the painter, but the painter was not the painter you think he is.
The painter didn't really do the thing that people think he did.
Yeah, the painter... again, it's complicated, okay? Because yes, of course, all the history books lie about everybody that was actually cool. Of course. But in terms of what he wanted to accomplish and what actually happened, it was not the same. Oxygrind for 2 says, we have the oil, but gas prices don't go down. In South Dakota, we're looking at low 2s, high 1s.
Yeah, I'm not getting that here.
It's pretty good right now. Thank you, Oxygrind. Appreciate that. Moonman for $20 says, also, I do want to say that we don't actually have the oil, right? If the oil prices fall, it's based on future predictions of us having access to the oil. Because as of right now, Venezuela is still a country with, somebody else is the what an awkward position to be the acting prime minister after your or acting president after your last one got yoinked. It's like, all right, I'm the guy now, I guess. Please don't abduct me.
Delta Force, please do not take me from my home.
Moonman for $20 says, the take the W is gay. Always be pouring sand into the gears of the machinery of Satan. Never stop pulling out the nails that hold it together. Never go. The mouth of Sauron has made a lovely potato salad, so he's not all bad. I think that's a fair take to have, but I also think that in a way for morale, because some people can't just be black pilled the entire time. Okay. And you could still have a good attitude and still think something is cool while understanding like what has to be done and that the system can't continue in the way that it has. So thank you very much for the $20, Moodman. I get where you're coming from because yes, I mean, how many pedophiles are pictured in this picture right now? Like, 4, who knows? Like somewhere between 4 and 8. Okay, there are 4 and 8, somewhere between 4 and 8 pedophiles in this picture right now, with Maduro on the screen. So yeah, no, this is not a government that's working for us. Okay, it's always good to keep that in mind.
I also love that in this picture, Maduro looks like Dr. Disrespect. It's just like it's a spitting image. I don't even understand how they got it like that. That's crazy. Kind of thought it was AI when I first saw it.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. The night of, there were all these images floating around,
and you're like,
and what was real and fake is like I have no idea anymore.
Like
dude.
Nike tracksuit. He's got like the frosty
until
tips.
I see the White House tweet something out. I have no idea. Thank you, Moonman. I appreciate the 20. That's very kind of you, sir. Lightsport for 2 says Sons of Liberty Gunworks is scared of the chat. I think that might be the case, dude. I think you might be right.
This is the nicest chat of any stream on YouTube.
Yeah, at worst, they're just going to ask for his toes. I mean, let's be real. Moonman for another 5 says, Black Pilled, look at it like you're playing the Red faction and there is a whole EDF base to pull apart for fun. Dude, Red faction was a fun game. I enjoyed that. Like, I remember playing that at like my older brother's house because he had an Xbox 360 and we didn't. And so we were able to play that. That was a fun game. All the little challenges, destructible environments. I feel like there should be another one of those games, but in 2025 or 2026, sorry, it would be absolute garbage. Speaking of absolute garbage, though. Donovan Manufacturing ported upper receiver. You read that right. How about a low back pressure upper receiver? So introducing the Donovan Manufacturing ported upper, a patent pending upper receiver system designed to fix one of the AR's biggest operational flaws, gas blowback to the shooter's face. And we fixed that by drilling holes in your mil-spec upper receiver.
Is it on both sides?
It's just on one side. So
Yeah.
we'll get into it because they're like reverse cut.
Total lefty death. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. TLD, bro. Actually, let me open that image in new tab so you guys can actually see it a little closer here. So this is what we're talking about here. So I imagine how these are supposed to work. You can see that they're reverse cut. So they're like angled away from the shooter's face, forward and up, basically. So as the bolt cycles, right, the gas keys right here, the gas tubes right here, as it goes back, you have all of that pressure feeding forward, basically, because it hits the gas, it hits the piston on the inside, your internal piston. The pressure goes everywhere, right? So as that gas key, as the carrier is moving back, and that gas has to go somewhere, it's venting that, in theory, forward and up away from the shooter's face.
So it's not really a low back pressure upper. It's more just a gas diverting upper. Because it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything to lower the back pressure. Like if you put a suppressor on this with just like a normal gas system, it's still going to beat the hell out of your components.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a good way of putting it. It's a gas diversion system, not low back pressure. Built for law enforcement, military, and rifle manufacturers, this drop-in upgrade redirects spent gases away from the users, dramatically improving suppressor performance. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that it improves suppressor performance. Reducing health risks and boosting reliability in select fire environments. Again, I don't know how it does any of that. By the time that these holes are doing anything, the cycle of operations is already finished, right? In terms of, like, when your gas key is this far back,
it's already off of the tube and everything.
It's off the tube. There's no more pressure. Like, if anything, it's lowering the pressure in your upper receiver faster. Maybe just by virtue of having more exit holes, right? But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's slowing your bolt velocity down. I don't know how it would, because your bolt has already been given all of the maximum force to begin with.
It might get your optics a little dirty.
That's a good point. That's a good point, actually. And that is an issue. Like, if I have a flip to side magnifier on some of my guns shooting suppressed a lot, like that, those lenses have to be cleaned because they get very gross very fast. And this spraying it directly upwards, interesting. As Russell says, yeah, it totally isn't coming out of the ejection port. Yeah. Well, it probably does something, and we have some video of it. So it does something. But I just don't know if it does anything interesting. Okay, so introducing the Donovan Manufacturing ported upper. I feel like you could do this in 15 minutes yourself, bro. It's just aluminum. They're just holes. It's not that hard. Patent pending upper receiver system designed to fix one of the AR's operational's biggest flaws. Designed for OEM integration, which just means like, hey, please buy our design from us, which is stupid. They're literally just showing you a mil-spec Cero forged upper receiver. Like, it's not anything special at all. But we do have a video, fortunately. I do have to be a little bit careful. Again, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like up close. I do have to be a little bit careful with this video because there is firearms involved, so I might have to make it really small for some of it.
If anything, I feel like it's going to reduce reliability because it's open holes that are basically allowing, even when your dust cover's closed, allowing whatever wants to get inside of your upper to get in there.
Well, that's actually a good point. As he says, what happens, yeah, if you drop this in mud, that actually does just dump mud around your carrier key and gas tube, which I feel like is not a good thing. You do not want mud there, because if you have mud around your gas key or your gas tube or gas key, honestly, that will actually stop the upper receiver from going fully home. That will stop it right there.
Hey, how you doing? It's Chad here from the ranch. We're in the arms room today with our favorite rifle, Donovan Manufacturing.
Oh, all right. Apologies, YouTube. Relax, relax.
The TRDT. TRDT stands.
Oh, I don't know if YouTube is gonna like that.
YouTube's about to have a conniption.
YouTube's about to pee slap me.
For the Ranch Dilly
All right, I'm gonna have to go really slow and change it every 5 seconds.
Texas. What makes this rifle our favorite gun? Well, they built it to our spec with the handguard that we wanted. 11.5-inch barrel with the Surefire muzzle brake on them. What has happened?
Give me the slow
over the
mo.
course of the last few years?
Oh, gosh dang it! Gosh dang it, you
The
turd!
evolution of this gun and what makes this gun special, other than
All right.
I mean, there's a lot of gas coming out of there.
The patent office will let you patent anything these days. True. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, but your upper receiver is already overgassed. So I don't know, like, what this is doing, if anything.
is the proprietary parts that come along with this, the buffer tube, and now this upper receiver that has these baloney cut holes right above the ejection port. You'll notice
You
that
see
it doesn't
baloney
bend down,
cut?
so we keep the rigidity
Yeah,
all
I don't know
the way
what
through the
that's.
buffer
That's like
tube.
some
We don't
term.
have
I don't know what that
missing
means.
gap right
It's
there.
an
And then we
industry
have the
term. You
ratchet
wouldn't get
castle
it.
nut. We can ratchet that
Yeah,
tube
you're not
on
from
and
here.
off.
You wouldn't
Makes
get
it
it.
really easy to assemble and disassemble for, you know, guys that are running their gun really hard, might have a malfunction, need to mortar the gun for any reason.
This is actually CAG training right here, in case you guys didn't know.
Training
So,
for
dude,
Venezuela.
We worry about our buffer tube. We don't worry about that anymore.
You
And
guys
then let's
like
get
pork
to
pop with
the
your
upper
pork
receiver.
pop?
We have these 4 holes cut on top of the receiver. What this is doing is venting gas away from the shooter's.
Yeah, it looks really good in a steam test, or in a controlled environment where you're blowing gas forward. But
Yeah,
how does
'cause
it
when-
actually look when shooting, dude?
When that guy was shooting off supported shooting, I definitely saw gas going back towards his face. So
Well, it's once it's out of the holes, yeah, it's just gonna go wherever it wants to go. And you got to remember that ejection port is right there, and it's gonna create that pressure wave moving with all the rest of the gases. So even if you're angling the holes like forward and away, I don't know how much that's actually gonna do.
During recoil, and we're getting rid of excess gas. In other words, keeping
Yeah,
the carrier speed.
it still
same
just goes
speed
wherever
and
it wants to
not
go.
Seeing more felt recoil within our optic. Out of the box.
Wait, so go back for a second. Did he say the same bolt velocity? It's like, yeah, no duh.
Speed at the same speed and not seeing
Yeah, literally at the same speed, bro.
rid of excess gas. In other words, keeping the carrier speed at the same speed and not seeing more felt recoil within our optic. Out of the box to
Well, yeah, but how could you? Like, that's
Why
the
would
thing.
that-
I don't
why
know
would
if
that
this
increase
does
recoil?
anything. I don't know if it does anything. Like,
This
I'm
isn't-
sure with the suppressor, yes, it's going to vent a lot of pressure through those holes, but it's still coming right back at your face. Like, I don't know if it does anything. It's like it comes out the ejection port, or it comes out right next to the ejection port.
is this the side effect of the whole flow through like pandemic and suppressors?
But here's the thing. Here's
People
the
are
thing.
like,
There
let's just
is a
put
way.
holes in it.
There's a way to reduce back pressure. It's called having a reduced back pressure can. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
I
it,
think-
dude.
I think people see the flow through cans. They're like, wow, if you put holes in the end of it, it's just like better. Let's just start putting holes in literally everything and it'll just be better. This is the key.
Listen, if you want to reduce blowback from your suppressor, buy a reduced blowback suppressor. That's it. There's ways to mitigate it. There's ways to alleviate the issue. Like, literally, a heavier buffer will do more than this upper receiver.
Yeah.
If you
Or you
can
could
slow
do-
the, if you can
do like one of the gas busting charging handles or an adjustable
Yeah,
gas
I mean,
system.
even
or
those don't do much.
something.
But yeah, it's like
I don't
reduce the
know.
amount of gas coming back in the system. You can do that with a block, with a tube, with your suppressor, or with a heavier buffer that delays the unlock of your system. Okay.
Nah, cut holes in it.
To me, this gun was made to be suppressed. We shoot most of these guns suppressed in semi-auto and select fire. And what we're finding is that even in select fire with a suppressor on the gun, we're not seeing any back pressure into the shooter's face, causing malfunctions, adding more felt recoil, meaning the dot is behaving a little bit more differently than it would if it wasn't suppressed. With that comes the health benefits of shooting this gun, right? It's a healthy rifle. We're not blowing.
I don't think so. Calling it a healthy rifle because it vents at a slightly different angle, still right next to your face, though.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still a gassy gun. Like, you're watching them and you're like, well, this is still a really gassy gun. Like, you're not like, even if we take them at their best case scenario, maybe it's a couple percentage points better.
Well, it's a weight savings, so
I mean, yeah, you get like 0.5 ounces, maybe.
Want all that gas in the shooter's face, right? As we shoot these guns with a suppressor on the end of the muzzle, that suppressor fills up with gas. As that suppressor fills up with gas, we start feeling the back pressure, hitting the pressure either in our face through sometimes the carrier handle or the forward assist, but also out of the breech and the ejection port. So eliminating the back pressure, mitigating recoil, and giving the shooter a better overall experience. The gun shoots a little bit flatter, and our dot is behaving the way we want it to. Okay, so what's happened after shooting these guns and seeing how well this upper receiver is working on these guns that we're building, we started...
Yeah, I don't even notice the difference, dude. When he's shooting it right here, I don't even notice the difference.
Shooting these guns and seeing...
Let me make it bigger so you guys can see this. All right,
how
watch
well
this.
Upper receiver is working on these guns that we're building. We started buying these upper...
It's a cloud of smoke. I don't know what to tell you, dude. He's like, yeah, I tuned the gun to recoil really softly, and it recoils really softly. This upper receiver helps in that. It's like, how? How does it do that?
Oh, he literally said this doesn't change anything about the rifle. It doesn't change the recoil. It doesn't change anything. So what's the point?
I guess it sells more product, dude. Like maybe those skeletonized upper guys, maybe they had it right all along. All right, you just remove material from everywhere for no reason whatsoever, and it makes it better.
In 20 years, when we're all dead from cancer for breathing in gases, and they're still alive, all the Kyles of the world with their skeletonized uppers and lowers, they'll be laughing.
Kyle would be weight conscious about his rifles.
Receiver to build other rifles.
Kyle's like 350 pounds, and he's very strong, by the way.
Hey, be
but
nice
Kyle's like
to
303.
Kyle.
Well, yeah, but he's a big guy, all right? He's like 350 pounds. He's a big dude. Look at Kyle. He's a big man, all right? You see that guy behind you at an ATM, and you're like, I don't know, bros. This might be it, okay? All right? If a certain Venezuelan president wakes up with this guy over his bed, he's thinking he's about to get eaten, all right?
Yeah, Kyle looks like he could beat me down, but, you know. It's not saying
but
much,
it's
I
like,
guess.
oh, yeah, but I need a skeletonized 6.1 pound rifle, all right? Like, all right.
Down so you can see a little bit clearer what we're talking about here. We have these 4 baloney cut holes. They're baloney cut because it gives the gas an actual direction away from the shooter.
But you see how it all just ends up this noxious cloud around the rifle anyways, when they're physically blowing it like in the most ideal direction, and it's still just billowing wherever it wants to go.
Face as gas comes back and blows the carrier to the rear. This upper receiver fits on any lower receiver. This is a standard upper receiver.
Because it's just a mil-spec
technology
upper, bro.
built into this upper receiver.
Technology. We have this technology built into the... It's 4 holes, dude.
This upper receiver fits on any lower receiver. This is a standard upper receiver. We just have some technology built into this upper receiver.
Technology?
Therefore, we're thinking every manufacturer, pick a name, should be using these upper receivers just to add a little bit more benefit to the shooter and the shooter's experience. My comp gun, my competition gun,
technology.
this upper receiver, I'm definitely seeing benefits in that rifle. We just got done shooting that rifle this morning. We're talking about 10-inch plates at 70 to 80 yards, BC zones out to 100 to 125 yards.
Well, here's the thing, Elijah, over on X. Hope you're having a good night. Wouldn't that just make you clean your rifle more frequently? No, you see there's less rifle to clean, therefore you clean it less frequently. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Did he actually just say that he's like more accurate now that he has this upper?
But it doesn't modify bolt velocity. It can't modify bolt velocity.
What is he saying then?
If he's saying, oh yeah, I tuned an upper receiver to shoot soft, now it shoots soft with this upper receiver. It's like, well, but it's not the upper receiver that's doing any of that. That's just there, bro.
Yeah, the upper receiver is like famously not doing very much.
That patent attorney and patent cost those guys around 20 grand. That's wild. That's wild.
Wow.
20 grand for that, dude? Are you really that gay that you even want to patent that? Do you want that on your record? What's your problem?
Offhand shooting and the dot's not leaving the target. So again, seeing these upper receivers, maybe going out to other manufacturers. I know this is patent pending. Donovan Manufacturing is working on getting these out and licensed to some of these other gun manufacturers.
And they're just trying to sell it to other people, which is, it seems so strange. You are really, really proud of this. Can we even call this a development? Is that even fair to say, this development in small arms technology? Tex Bullington says improves accuracy. How?
I call it a regression, honestly.
You've made your upper receiver less rigid. The technology is a Dremel. True.
It's
Correct.
the future, man.
Speaking of the future, 5 holes is 20% different. Hey, that's true. I mean, you ever meet somebody with 5 holes? You're like, wow, you're a little bit different than me, aren't you? California ban on open carrying is unconstitutional. Appeals court rules. U.S. Circuit Judge Lawrence Van Dyke, a Trump appointee, said in the 2-1 decision that the state's law couldn't stand under the Supreme Court's 2022 landmark gun rights. What is something funny about Van Dyke?
I just like the way you put the emphasis on it, John. That's
Lauren Van Dyke.
Van Dyke.
Dyke. The ruling party reverses a 2023 decision by a lower court that rejected a 2019 challenge to California law. This is how gay everything is in California. It's like, all right, 2019 law, there was a ruling reverse party in 2023, and then it was repealed based off of a 2022 Supreme Court ruling in 2026. It's all so gay because they try to pass a law, they get smacked down. They get smacked down, they revise the law, and then it gets, well, actually, based upon this other ruling here, it's also gay. It's awful. It's obnoxious.
Gay. Also,
everybody in California,
carry,
I apologize for you.
Like, I do think it's good to have open carry legalized because it just helps for certain situations. But people who open carry are horrible. Like, I've never met someone who open carries who's like a good person or someone I want to be around.
Whoa, really? All right.
Yeah.
All
no,
right.
I'm serious.
Straight up
I'm
hatred.
serious.
No, it's fine.
I don't think I've ever met
upset.
somebody who open carries on a regular basis who is like actually someone I want
A
to be
good
around.
person.
Yeah. It's usually like 80-year-old men who are in a biker gang, apparently, or they think they are. And they carry their like this 1911 in a Serpa holster. And they say very crazy things to young women in the grocery store. And I mean, they're living their best life, but I don't particularly like those kinds of people.
All right. Well, U.S. Appeals Court on Friday ruled that California's ban on openly carrying firearms in most parts of the state was unconstitutional. You don't say. A panel of the San Francisco-based 9th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals sided 2-1 with a gun owner in ruling that the state's prohibition against open carry in counties with more than 200,000 people. What a wild rule. Oh, yeah. If your county's too big, you can't. No more rights for you. If your county's above 200,000 people, we just remove certain rights. Like, isn't that just like on its face nonsense? Like, surely we don't have to put up with this sort of nonsense, dude. Jake, you always want to say the N word, bro.
Don't read the chat, John. I'm talking
it's
to
right.
people.
I can't. Not. I know. John, I'm going to call him the N word. Watch me. The N word. About 95% of the population in California, which has some of the nation's strictest gun control laws, live in counties of that size. That's like, oh, yeah, well, you can't open carry on streets where we drive on the right-hand side. It's like, I feel like you're just denying open carry. Like, you're just making it illegal. Like, you're putting on some sort of vague restriction that's so vague it's basically everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, you can only not open carry within 1,000 yards of another human being. It's like, well, that's literally everywhere. Not even within my own home? No, of course not. U.S. Circuit Judge Lawrence Van Dyke, who was appointed by Republican President Donald Trump, said the Democratic-led state's law could not stand under the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 landmark gun rights ruling. That decision, which is the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, was issued by the court's 6-3 conservative supermajority and established a new legal test for firearms restrictions. The test said that they must be consistent with this nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. Van Dyke, whose opinion on Friday was joined by another Trump appointee, said that the latest case unquestionably involves a historical practice of open carry that predates the ratification of the Bill of Rights itself in 1791. So yes, you have a traditional right, a long-standing tradition of open carry since before the Bill of Rights. He noted that more than 30 states generally allow open carry. California itself allowed citizens to carry handguns openly and holstered for self-defense. without penalty until 2012. The historical record makes unmistakably plain that open carry is part of this nation's history and tradition, Van Dyke said. The ruling party reversed a 2023 decision by a lower court judge who had then rejected a 2019 challenge to the law by gun owner Mark Baird. While the appeals court largely sided with Baird, it rejected his related challenge to California's licensing requirements in counties with fewer than 200,000 residents, which may issue open carry permits. Senior U.S. Judge N. Randy Smith, who was appointed by Republican former President George W. Bush, dissented, saying his colleagues got this case half right, as all of California's restrictions complied with the Supreme Court's ruling. Rob Bonta, a Democrat who defended the state's ban in a statement, said his office is considering its options. We are committed to defending California's common sense gun laws. The 2022 Supreme Court rule has prompted court cases nationwide challenging, modern firearms restrictions, including California. A Ninth Circuit panel in 2024 upheld a California law that prohibits people with concealed carry permits from carrying firearms at several categories, like sensitive places like bars, parks, zoos, stadiums, and museums. Very gay. Very, very gay. Although, to be clear, like when Jake says like open carry people are bad people, I think this is a woman with a 1911, a Kimber 1911
in a Serpa
that is not cocked. So not cocked and locked.
Bad
It's just
person.
simply not chambered.
Literally a bad person, I'm telling you.
Not chambered, dude. Unless it's chambered with the hammer down.
Yeah.
And
So you
she's
have to
going to charge
thumb the hammer.
thumb the hammer, fan the hammer to get it going. It's also in a Serpa, which does not fit the like 3/4 inch belt that this lady has around her gunt.
Her gunt?
I think that's the technical term here.
Yeah, I do. I want to clear this up. I have open carried before. There's situations if you're in a small town or you're out in the country or you're like on your property or in a park, whatever you're doing, that's fine. But if you're like, I'm going to go to the mall and open carry my handgun and be that person, and then all the YNs are going to be looking at me the whole time and probably try and kill me. There's so many situations where it's just not good at all. It is good to have the option.
Yeah, having options. It's always good. Let me see.
I'm surprised no one in the
Did you-
comments has said would. It's the first female we've had on screen where people have not said would.
Yeah. Surprise. Chat's all quiet now. With this lady on screen. All quiet now, huh?
How is people are saying, okay, compulsive gun buyer. You're telling me this is a FUD take? Dude, FUDs are the ones who open carry. I just saw some dude at the range today shooting at paper plates stapled to the target. That guy open carries, okay? He didn't have any hair on top of his head. That guy open carries.
You open carry?
Huh?
You open carry, bro?
What are you talking about?
No, sorry. I was not even paying attention, dude. I was reading something else. So I missed like the last 2 minutes.
No, I'm ranting.
Oh, you're good. You're good,
I'm
homie.
venting my
All right.
frustration. I'm not going to say the N-word though, John.
You're
Don't
venting?
worry.
Did you
I did that
port
last
your upper
stream. I'm
receiver?
not going to do it.
Did you port your upper receiver to vent
Yeah.
properly?
I went to my drill press and started drilling holes in my receiver. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I got the instructions wrong and I started drilling in my lower receiver, and suddenly they
this
were
is
really
okay.
upset with that one. That
hope
one
this is
didn't go over
okay.
so well. All right. Well, do you want to get into black pilling or gun bunny, Jake?
Oh no.
Black pilling or gun bunny?
Probably black filling.
Oh, really? You chose black pilling over gun bunny? Okay, we're gonna do gun bunny then. All right. So sorry for the jump scare. Okay. Now I just have some thoughts. Okay. So this is Alyssa Seymour. She's actually been in this chat a couple times before. She's one of like the 3 females who has watched this show before.
Your female audience.
She's part of that 0.01% of it's so small, the amount of women that actually watch my show. And most of the women.
She's a married gun bunny.
Well, she's not a gun bunny. Okay, so she's been in the chat before.
Okay,
well,
I
we're
thought you were
gonna
talking
get
about
into it.
gun
We're gonna get
bunnies.
into it. Okay. Well,
My goodness,
it's funny.
John.
It's funny because her tag is like gun bunny or gunny gal or something like that. Okay, so she is a married Mormon mother that is also kind of in the gun industry, but kind of into like fitness and CrossFit and other things. So it's just okay. It's interesting. All right, but I just have some questions. Okay, and I'm sure Alyssa would be happy to come on and talk about them. There's this thing right here that was sent in the Discord, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. So this is put on by Brickyard Performance. Brickyard Tactical Class, Saturday, January 17th, gentlemen. Still time to get in there, okay? Dry fire only. This class is designed for competitive shooting sports like the tactical games, Patriot games, and more. We combine functional fitness with marksmanship while under duress. So train strength, movement, and marksmanship under fatigue the way competition actually demands. This class is built for tactical games, USPSA, IDPA, and athletes who want to perform when heart rate is high and hands are shaking, or those who just hands are shaking. We'll get into. There's some jokes to be made here. Those who just want to come try it out, have fun, and learn new skills. No prior experience or equipment is required. Functional fitness, dry fire marksmanship, mock competition events, safety first, 0 live ammo. Now it is. This is at her gym or one of the gyms over there that's sponsoring this event. So for members, it is free. I want to keep this in mind. This is not some sort of like tactic grifting course where they're charging you like hundreds of dollars. This is a free event for members. And if you're not a member, it's only $10. Now, the reason, where does Alyssa come into this? Taught by our amazing and very experienced coach, which is, of course, Alyssa, and the Gun Bunny's just her alt, or Gunny Gal, sorry. Gunny Gal is her alt, Alyssa Seymour is her main, so. Oh, she follows me. Nice. Didn't even know that. No, I'm not
for long, John.
Not for long, dude. We'll get to some of the people that are commenting on this. We'll see how it goes, okay? But anyway, so what do you actually get out of this? So no gear is required, but bring these if you have it. A weighted vest and carrier, because again, tactical games, think of CrossFit plus USPSA, but poorly. 15 pounds for men, 12 pounds for women. Range belt with holsters and mag carriers, pistol, rifle, 2 mags each, no live ammo. There will be a safety brief before each class. Every gun and all of your gear will be inspected to ensure safety and that there is no live ammo. We will be dry firing only and pointing the firearms in safe directions at all times. We will have, now this is where I think it might be a bit grifty, is listen to this. We will have fully inert laser system firearm options such as the Mantis Titan X available for use. This might be, well,
what does that mean?
If 50 people show up and they only have 20 units, then not everybody gets to use it. But what I'm saying here is that it's a possibility that, you want to buy the system, this dry fire system. It's only $400. You totally need this dry fire system to maximize your dry fire, dude.
For sure.
When you don't know anybody in the chat right now, you need exactly nothing to dry fire other than a gun. That's it. Gun and the will to live. Okay. And that's all you need to dry fire, baby.
And hands, probably.
Not even. Have you seen Nub Gunner, dude?
We didn't even talk about Nub Gunner again.
It's gonna come up.
Last time we talked about it,
it's gonna come up. Nubs and all. But no, listen. You don't think that guy gets it on dry firing? He does. All right, he's good.
He does. He does for sure.
He does.
But he has like the little thing,
the nub. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
That's not a hand. That's a nub. Hence the name. All right. Strength, agility, skill example. 12-minute EMOM every minute on the minute. For 1 minute is a 40-second heavy farmer carry hold, sandbag bear hug hold, 20-second plate pinch hold, and then minute 4 is rest. Mock events. So again, you got to remember, tactical games is like mediocre CrossFit and like bottom tier shooting most of the time. right? The CrossFit stuff is like, if you're in decent shape, you'll do fine. Okay. The shooting stuff is like, if you know what a gun is, you'll be okay most of the time. Even in some like the higher level events that I've seen people do, I'm like, where's the shooting part of it? And then they do it and it's like, oh, that's it. That was it. It was like move from point A to B while carrying something and then fire 6 rounds, repeat like 4 times. And I'm like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Lena Michelik commenting on it. That's where Nub Gunner's going to come in. Poor phrasing there. Very poor phrasing there. But what was I going to say? Yeah, lots of female empowerment going on here. Totally chill. All right. The one thing I'm curious though, I'm not going to say anything about the CrossFit side of things because I don't know anything about the CrossFit side. I'm sure Alyssa's like a fantastic at that. However, when it comes to gun stuff specifically, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you probably want somebody who's really good at it or can convey it in a really concise manner when it comes to dry fire. Because I feel like people can actually get benefit out of like a dry fire class or at least like a demonstration, right? But that works best in conjunction with live fire, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you're in a class and they're going to run through some things dry, right? So that you get what you're doing and then you're going to do it live, like over and over again, right? But like, even when I'm out training, I mix in live fire with dry fire and then I dry fire here in my room like every day. So, but a dry fire only class with mixed tactical games elements and CrossFit elements, you know, it's like soaking, right? It's like, it doesn't count. Kind of, maybe, I don't know. Okay, it's not my place. All right, the Mormons can answer that deep theological question about soaking. Does it count? Does it count at all? I'm not sure. But there's also this post here about from Alyssa saying a little story on the name, which I think is Gun Gal. As many of them know, I'm not a big fan of the term gun bunny. Well, that's because that's the thing. It's not, how do I say this? Most women probably would be upset if you called them a gun bunny, most self-respecting women, but then women just do it to themselves. They just do it to themselves. It just happens. It's like, don't call me a gun bunny. And then they do everything to act like a gun bunny. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but you earned it. I'm not saying that Alyssa's doing that, but I'm just saying like, I get it if you're offended, but at the same time, most of you earned your title. A little story on the name. As many of you know, I'm not a big fan of the term gun bunny, but I figure if I'm going to get called it just for being a girl who's into guns, then F it. I'm going to own the hell out of it, trademark it, and all. This brand will start simple as a merch store, but I want to offer more later on down the road. I see a line of true female curated tactical clothing and equipment. And don't worry, guys, we'll make something for you too. Much more to share, but here's for here now. It's a start, and we hope to bring our technical designers to make gear that I've always wanted for sports like tactical games, USPSA, and even CrossFit and High Rock. I've said it since day one. I want to provide real value to this community, not just use my body for attention and views. Here's the 2020 fix, and it's the start of something amazing. So I think she's starting a clothing line that's, you know, more tactical, female oriented, just called Gun Bunny. It is funny. It's funny. Jake, are you gonna rush out when they get their mail line and you're gonna buy your Gun Bunny?
I do think it's funny that she's like, we'll make something for the guys too. I would love to see the sales numbers on that.
I need Gun Bunny branded sweats, okay, with bunny across the back. That's what I need.
Gun Bunny X Weekend Gunner crossover? Is that possible?
And get that collab.
Get on it, Lance.
I think it's funny. You can hate the term Gun Bunny, but then when you create a clothing line of it and then market yourself as like female centric or whatnot, it's like, yeah, of course people are going to call you a Gun Bunny. Now, I'm not saying that she's out here. I'm sure she's a wonderful lady. Okay. I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but it's like, you know, if you're upset with the name and then you make a clothing brand off the name, it's fine. Fine. Right. That's what a Gun Bunny would do. A Gun Bunny would absolutely create a line of clothing called Gun Bunny. All right.
Yeah.
No. Yoga pants and black multicam. Yeah, curated tactical clothing. And it's
when I first
multicam
saw you
leggings.
bring this
All right.
up, I honestly thought this was going to be like a multi-$100 course, and I was like, oh no. And then I realized
No.
it's free or $10. I'm like, okay, whatever. Also, it's like totally not something I would even care about, but I don't necessarily care that much. I think it's fine if she wants to do it. I've seen way worse training that people pay for, so I don't know. I don't know what the quality of this training is going to be.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If it's like a lot of things, it's very mixed. It's like, oh, there's some CrossFit elements and there's some like generic dry fire advice and training. It's like, okay, that's fine for an afternoon, but it's very much so newbie focused, very low. What's the right term that I'm looking for? Very low entry fee, very low barrier to entry. So it's not, probably the quality is not going to be all that great.
It's like getting a gas station hot dog, you know, it's not that expensive, but it's probably not going to be that good. And if it's really bad, are you that disappointed?
Yeah.
You paid like $1 for it. Just get over it.
You just
throw it in the trash.
It's like, you just leave. It's not good. You just leave. You just leave. All right. Subarctic Psycho for 2 says this industry has truly run out of ideas. Yes, you're correct. Thank you, Subarctic. Art Vandalay for 2 says small arms innovation stopped in 1980. It's definitely slowed down. Okay. Until we get pulse rifles out, I feel like we're in a bit of a stagnation transition event. Thank you, Vandalay. Thundercat, sorry, for 2 says $100 for port pop. Yes, or plus 100 port pop. Yeah, you like flash coming out the side of your upper receiver?
Yes, please.
Give me more. Moonman for $10 says built for law enforcement, military, and rifle manufacturers always come before a product that none of those have ever asked for. Inshallah, they're hit by a truck and stays in traction for weeks.
Wow.
All right, Moonman.
Moonman is a very creative and interesting man.
Well, I mean, listen, guys, they have 37 subscribers and we are literally the 110th view. Okay. 110, baby. 110 and never again, or something like that. Lightsport for 2 says Kyle versus Trench gay off. That's close. I don't know who would win. Thank you, Lightsport. Zanico for 2 says, like Jake, that upper has 3 holes.
What does that mean, Zanico?
Well, you know what it means. He wants to show you what it means. Lightsport for 5 says, I know a guy who open carries a Taurus G2 and he's indeed one of the worst people I know. Vindicated. Axe Grind for 2 says Jake is scared to open carry in a legal metropolitan area. Listen, it is not a tactically advisable plan to open carry around the YNs. All right. Too many videos of people getting their guns stolen. Now, unless you're doing it to goad them into stealing from you so that you may interdict them and stop them from doing so, right? Which is questionable planning, but one could do such a thing. Bait, so to speak. Thank you, an axe to grind. Owens Bane for 2 says just tuned in. No Jake grippers. How disappointing. That's the thing, dude. Jake's grippers are always on screen because all of Jake is grippy. Let me tell you. Thank you, Owens Bane.
John, what the fuck was that, dude?
Dog for 2 says Jake cries out in pain during vote on open carry. Thank you, Don.
That one made me laugh actually when I saw
good.
it.
Kim Jong-un for 2 says Toddy Evans is my favorite gun bunny. Big gazongas. I don't even know who that is, and I'm not going to look them up. Toddy Evans.
I think it's Evans.
I don't know, dude. Not into him. Lightsport for 2 says I want to see. Kim Jong-un for 2 says CrossFit is really trenchy. Yeah, it's that lame. Wow, dude. Trench would probably be really good at CrossFit. Really good at CrossFit. And that's not even a dig. I think Trench would be really good at it. Moonman for 5 says, I second Zany and think we should copyright Gun Cunny and Gun Cummy. That's 2 very tight demographics that have money to burn.
I don't think you should say either of those words on stream, John. I'm going to be honest.
What, honey and cummy?
Yeah, I just don't think that in a sentence is going to be good for the YouTube censors.
It's fine. We're 2 hours and 50 minutes into the stream, dude. Don't worry about it, dog. Dude, we're about to get into rage bait, dude.
Lightsport wants to know why you didn't finish reading his super chat.
I'm not gonna read that. She's a nice married lady. All right. I'm not reading that out, dude. I'm not reading that, dude. I'm not. Everybody saw it. The chat's.
I didn't even see it.
Oh yeah, it's because you're slow, Jake. A little slow on the update there, bro.
I was homeschooled, okay, John. I'm a slow reader.
Same, dude. Same.
High five.
All right. Yeah. High five, Jake.
High five.
Pediatrician confesses to wrongly transitioning 1,500 patients, including children as young as 3 years old.
Criteria.
Before you ask, yes. So to be clear, though, Jamie Reed, this woman here who is standing in front of a panel of gender affirming care, I like to call this Moloch worship. I think if you brand this properly, satanic inversion of the human body, a destruction of God's divine order, satana worship, whatever you want to call it here, but this gender affirming care. Now, to be clear, she's not actually a pediatrician, but she did work in a gender clinic as a case manager and was the first major whistleblower, leading to the loss of her job and the clinic being eventually shut down. Yeah, just hormones and ruining children's bodies as young as 3 years old for the sake of cultural progress.
The woods in the chat have turned into wood chippers. Interesting. Curious.
I mean, and I personally think what this is, I think is sexual abuse of children. If you give them like hormone altering and body altering drugs for your sick sexual preferences that you are foisting upon children as young as 3 years old, like this is tantamount to pedophilia and you should be publicly executed. I think that is perfectly fine. I think that is a moral and just good. Prison is the moderate option. Prison is the moderate option for these people. I mean, people often say, oh yeah, white women are like the worst demographic in America or whatnot. When you look into these quote unquote white women, you realize that a lot of them have funny sounding names and interesting ancestry. And it seems to just happen over and over again. Maybe like the whole white women are bad lay meme is really just a psyop to get you to, blame somebody else for your problems rather than the people actually perpetuating the issues. Yes, not exactly white.
I'm just your average white woman. I'm so basic.
Now, so that's the thing. A lot of people in the chat are making fun of us for being homeschooled. We never had to deal with this, and our children will never have to deal with this. So you guys may not have been homeschooled, but your children will be, right? Because now you know, and you can't go back. Once you know, you don't go back. Yeah, how do you wrongfully transition 1,500 children? Oh, well, you're a disgusting demon working for Satan for the destruction of humanity, for the worse off of the rest of the universe, right? That's what you do.
Yeah, when you reading the headline, it's hard to get an idea like the gravity of it, but then you think about the fact that that's a huge number. These are little tiny children. Their lives will never be the same. A very high percentage of them are probably going to end in whatever you want to call it on YouTube.
Self-harm. You have to pray for the young ones, especially that it is not too late for them and there is some sort of path forward.
Regardless, even if some of these kids might have asked for it,
those are fucking irrelevant, dude.
The victim. They are little kids. They don't make decisions.
My son wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to say, Dad, we should play Halo and watch Transformers. All right. He says all sorts of wacky things, but guess what? I'm the dad, so I tell him, no, go back to bed. Okay.
You don't want to.
Why are you in my room?
You don't want to play Halo much.
Well, so that's the funny. This actually happened last night. My wife goes to bed. I'm up. I'm playing Space Marine 2, right? He comes in the room and I'm like, what are you doing up? Because he went to bed like 6 hours ago, and he's like, I want to watch Transformers. So he actually just ended up just hanging out with me for a minute, and then we went to bed. But
Awesome.
yeah, wholesome Chungus moment.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. When my son asks for silly things or anything like that, like I have a daughter, she's 3 years old, right? And if some social worker was like, I think your daughter needs gender affirming care, I would make her swallow her elbow.
Yeah.
And I think that is the moderate option. I think if that lady swallowed her elbow, I think it would be better for her than if she meets final judgment upon having done what she wanted to do to my child.
Something about a millstone, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it would be better for her to swallow her own elbow forcefully by me than to get what's coming to her.
Yeah. It is horrible because it is horribly misled and evil parents or evil, probably mostly evil, and straight up demonic physicians and staff at these places.
Oh yeah, trust the doctors, trust the science people.
Yeah.
BTFO'd immediately upon like any scrutiny.
The fact they think they can just kind of come out and say, yeah, like we probably shouldn't have done that. It probably wasn't the best, but we're learning. It's like, no, you don't.
Well, that's the thing,
you don't get to treat our children like Mangala's, experiments. That's not how it works.
Listen, okay, people. We were talking about the painter earlier, but all of these degenerate sex clinics and child brothels magically get shut down, and then people, for no reason, just one day, for no reason at all, really started to support people who didn't want to mutilate their children for no reason at all. It just happened.
It's almost like there's a reason. It's almost like there's a reason why people take these big turns, right? Why they are okay with bringing in these huge political regime changes.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird to think about, John.
Yeah, Jim, I've made jokes about arranged marriages with other people to secure bloodlines, and other people think it's like doesn't go over well in all crowds. Okay. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's a hellscape out there. Okay. I'm trying to actually do something for the betterment of my family and for the future of everyone. Whatever. As a joke. It's fine. These people. We're not done yet though. We still have more to blackpill on. Because Joel Webbon, who I really appreciate, I think he's one of the strongest Protestant voices for reason among a wide swath of Protestant degeneracy. Protestants, by and large, who I unfortunately do call myself a Protestant because I still am for the moment. But Protestants are just, by and large, evangelical, weak, witless, tossed to and fro by the winds of change and whatever society thinks is good in the moment. But Joel Webbon is a very based man who is standing up for traditional values in a time where people are publicly defending the freaking USS Liberty 60 years later, a la what's his face, the other Protestant guy, quote unquote civic nationalist. What's his name? Wrote books.
No idea.
You probably recognize his name. I can't remember his name. Somebody in chat probably gonna recognize. Yeah. But Christian parents cannot send their Christian children to public schools, especially if their children are white. And you're like, oh, well, there's no reason to bring race into this. There's no reason to make it about race, Mr. Webbon. Why would you do that? And it's just, Shaniqua's assaulting. This is your daughter on public school. This is your sister. This is your people that are allowed to be around these people with no impulse control and whose first action is to choke her out. And she can't defend herself. She's one person, nobody else. I mean, she's quite literally surrounded in this moment. She doesn't realize the danger that she's in. She's attempting to converse. She's doing the hand thing. Choke, scared face, 2-on-1, about to be 3-on-1. And yeah, you can't send your daughter to these places. This is your daughter right here. And actually, that's a perfect freeze frame because guess what? It's the same face because they're too stupid to realize that their parents, their families, their societies have sold them out to this. This is the future that we've allowed to happen, right? But we We don't black pill here. We don't do that sort of thing. This is also the time in which you've been born to hopefully make a change, right? You know, you're not Constantinople 1453, but you're probably early 15th century Constantinople, right? There's still time. The enemies are around. They're here making problems and whatnot, but there's still time. There's still time to fix things. The empire has power. It's in its death throes. There's issues at home and abroad, but there's still time.
Yes.
There's some
days you wake up and you're just like a miserable chud and you look out the window and the sky's black and you're like, man, it's not going to get any better. But we know who wins in the end, right?
Well, yeah. And not only, you can't take that approach to life, I think. Because you can look at this and think about how horrible, how awful this is. Or you can look at it and think about how much work you get to do. Right, because you did not get born into the 1950s. It did not happen. Okay. You did not get to be the generation that sold out your children. You get to be the generation that fights for your children, right? Because the boomers, they gave us Hart Celler, right, in the 1965. That basically spelled where we're at now, which is this nonsense, right? So you get to be the generation, late millennials, Zoomers. We get to be the generation that fixes these problems, that ends these problems.
Yeah. And Christ wins in the end. And you don't use that as an excuse to just say, oh, well, Jesus will win in the end, whatever. I'll just sit back.
That is a correct eschatological position, right?
But that should be.
But we have the work to do here and now. We have the work to do here and now, regardless of if we win or not, right? Because the thing is, like, even if we lose and America falls into anarchy, breaks up, balkanizes, whatever it might be, we still get to play our part in that, whether we win or lose.
Yeah.
We have the position that ultimately we win no matter what, but we still have to fight in the here and now. Still have to do things in the here and now.
Yeah. I guess my point is just the victory of Christ should be compelling us to go out and like actually do something, because we know we are on the winning side. We are on the good side. No matter what happens, you have to be active.
Sorry, Jake. Too many choices. Says, rest in peace, Arena. You guys like making things about race. No, I actually hate it. I hate seeing both of these images. This young Arena being stabbed in the neck by a animal who then screams, I got that white bitch. I got that white bitch. Yeah, so I hate making things about race. Unfortunately, these people have set the rules of the game. And he says, I'm just not going to go to Democrat hellholes where they release criminals and don't punish evil, right? You could say that, but why are these places hellholes and why do they release these criminals, right? They have set the rules to the game, and it'd be foolish to not engage with the rules, right? So you can say that you don't see race. This girl sees her. Look at the terrified look on this girl who has no idea what to do versus the Shaniqua on the left, right? This woman here, Arena, terrified. She has no idea what just happened to her. She is sitting on a train trying to come home to her fiance, and this animal criminal stabbed her to death and then gloated about it, gloated about murdering this woman, murdering this about to be bride, murdering this daughter, right? Gloated about it. So you don't have to make it about race. They did. The world did. You don't, I don't make the rules.
Yeah. It's right? Like, I think most people that are like developed mentally would say that they don't want to be racist. Like, you don't want to make things about race, but like, if you are logical at all, if you can open up your eyes and just kind of look at what's going on around you, you kind of have to. Or you can just be ignorant and just play dumb and say, oh no, that's actually not happening. No, you have to be real. We don't have the choice. I would love it if I could just look at literally anybody on the street and say, this person is a great person, most likely based on statistics, and I have no problem being around them. Nope, that's not how it works. Sorry, like you kind of have to, you kind of have to lean into it because it's reality.
Well, again, you're making it about race too. You're saying avoid these places and people. I agree with you. Tactically speaking, yes, avoid these places and people. Like, how do you make this thing not happen? You just don't allow it to happen in the first place by not being around them. I agree with you. Yes. But I mean, it's like if you want like really dark, disturbing stats, and dark is just a ironic byproduct here of the circumstances. But I think it was 1 year, I think in 2008, where there were like 19,000 black on white sexual assaults and 0 recorded white on black sexual assault. 0 recorded. Not saying that it didn't happen unrecorded somewhere, but literally 0. Okay, so, you know.
That's a tough statistic to look at. Not to say it's not about race.
MLK might be upset that people weren't judging people by the content of their character, but my counterpoint was that maybe they just were all along.
I don't know. Honestly, even though MLK was like a bad guy objectively, I think if you gave him that statistic, he'd probably change his tune a little bit. He'd say, oh, damn.
Well, it's the debate, right? Malcolm X versus...
was a bit of a fan of the womanizing, forcing himself onto...
Well, he did watch his pastor rape a woman, so I don't know how much he cares too much.
Well,
but he was also probably an asset.
Okay, if MLK was a good
X
person
versus Martin Luther, right? That's the question, okay? Because Malcolm X kind of got it towards the end. He was getting it towards the end.
He's starting to figure it out.
And then he was killed, of course. But, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
It's funny how that happens.
Well, that was our section of rage bait.
Race
don't
bait?
send your I didn't say that. What am I supposed to do here? Like realistically, like I'm showing you this right here.
John.
What am I supposed to do here? You see this image, right, of these 2 Shaniquas just beating down this poor high schooler for doing nothing. What, she was mean to them? She said something mean and they're so retarded that they only have violence to retort to? Well, listen, that can go both ways, but I just think, historically speaking, white people are infinitely better at violence. Okay? I'm just gonna say it. Where's the image? I have it over here somewhere. Where are they? Show me the Delta team. Where'd they go?
The D boys.
Show me the Deltas. All right, I'm just gonna say it.
I think you're supposed to lie. You're not supposed to tell the truth. That's what people want.
Apparently, but okay, I'm just gonna say I think that the whites are infinitely better at violence. Okay, so if you want to go down the violent race war route, that can happen. That can happen. But I think that one of us is infinitely better at it than the other. Amrite Boy for 2 says, disturbing amount of homeschoolers around here. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, autism breeds autism. I think we should get money here for being an autism center, okay? Not the...
Can we do that?
Minneapolis. I mean, we should, honestly. I should file for it.
I think we could actually do that.
I registered us as a daycare last week. We're good to go.
Non-profit, but I like set my salary at like $5 million a year. Non-profit, by the way.
You have to change your name to Mohammed.
Yeah. Moonman for 10 says, so they can't hold their goblin children again, their eyes so that they can never look at anything pretty again, their ears so that they can never hear music or the laughter of children again. See, that could be about the actual goblins or the other one that we just looked at. So, you know, thank you for that, Moon Man. I appreciate that. I know what you mean. Okay. Axegrind says, I love white people. Who's with me? I get, if you can't say that you love your own people, I mean, come on. Like even for I know we got a lot of Filipinos in the chat. I know we got all sorts of different races in the chat, but if you hate yourself at a fundamental level, like, I think there's something off, bro. Like, you can love your people. And like, I recognize problems within my own group as this freaking Scottish weirdo, wanting people to publicly kick him in the balls before he has bottom surgery. Okay. My race has got some problems. My race has got some issues. All right. Got some people that I want to, Minecraft. Right. But yeah, gotta love your own people, regardless of who you are. Okay. God made you that. Love yourself. Love your people.
Very based. It is interesting. You have such a diverse audience, John.
Filipinos, where is Lightspore? Where are the Filipinos? Moonman's organizing a crusade against the rest of the chat. He's like, we're having a little bit of an inquisition here, okay? Moonman for 5 says, I get hard at the thought. I'm simply out here, a brigand on a leash. I will do it for basically minimum wage. Richard, that thing I made you.
Harder is better?
Bro, that was like the first time somebody even asked to change your thumbnail tonight, dude.
He's losing it.
There you go. Thank you, Moonman. Well, no, I think it's because Chud and Lightsport weren't fighting over it at all. So, Chud, I hope you're having a good New Year's, man, wherever you're at. Amrite Boy for 2 says, of us former homeschoolers. That's right. Well, yeah, I have 3 kids so far. Probably more, but they will be homeschooled. So that's the plan. My daughter, she's never going to college. Why would you go to college, okay? They gonna teach you how to be a housewife at college? What? No. Come on. Thank you, Amrite Boy. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you, thank you. All right, well, that was Rage Bait. Oh, wait, I think there's one over on Ko-Fi. Give me 1 second. Let me grab that real fast. Over on Ko-Fi, Subartic Psycho for 10. Thank you very much. It says, transitioners should be publicly skinned and blood-eagled on live television. Well,
wow.
That is extreme, and that would certainly be a deterrent. But I do think that Vlad the Impaler had the correct methodology. You actually don't need to display very many people for it to make a very effective message. It's actually surprisingly few. You wouldn't think so, but a few people pinataed in your town square is a really good deterrent. It's just a couple. It's just a couple. The government doesn't want you to know this, but if you impale a couple people in your town square, it's a really good deterrent on crime. Okay. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Absolutely nothing.
That's not true. You got clips to work on, sir. Come on.
Yes, I do.
It's your job, bro.
You got a job to do, Richard.
Get to work. You guys don't know this, but I have the best DEI hires in the business. Okay, Richard's working hard. All right, I crack that whip on Richard. All right, Richard is a house. What's the good word for him?
House.
Got to be a house clipper. That's good. House clipper. You can use the hard R, bro. House clipper.
Yeah.
All right. I put the link to Focus Clips, which is our second channel, which has all of the clips as the name implies. Oh, excellent. Madden, I hope that worked for you. If I missed some of the packaging, let me know. I have all the B-roll and all the footage. I just need to actually edit the video for that. Thank you, Madden. Appreciate you, sir. Jake, what do you got going on, homie?
Not much. Just living life, working. I just moved, so a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on in Jake's life. Not showing my toes.
Not showing your toes.
As always, Christ is king. Convert or be converted. And yeah, that's all.
Sorry, Jim. I just saw this. Saw your messages. Dude, Richard, I do say I do love your thumbnail. I'm gay. Valhalla VF tranny kisser.
It's
wild.
Yeah, that is wild. That is good. Richard does good thumbnails. Okay, I don't know how he does them. After I told him how I did mine, then he got like way better at thumbnails than I did. So now I should just make him do all the thumbnails for everything. But it's fine. It's fine. All right.
Once I figured out the secret to it is not using Microsoft Paint.
Are you using, what are you using now? Be Funky, or are you using something else?
Yeah, Be Funky.
Okay. Yeah, dude,
I was
so easy.
using Microsoft Paint for like a year.
Like, wow, this is so miserable.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we have planes off the Iranian coastline, so that's cool right now. So maybe breaking the story right now. Yeah, let's go, Iran.
I want more.
I love all of the memes about Marco Rubio having to assume power in all these foreign countries. I think that's really good. It's like Marco Rubio realizing he has to be the new president of Cuba, of Venezuela, Greenland, and now Iran, and it's just him in a turban chilling. He's just having a good time, dude.
I'm all right with more wars as long as they all last 37 minutes.
Oh, that's not right. Come on. I don't even know what I just Googled there. There we go.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
There we go. Desert Storm round 3. Let's go. No, but seriously, gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you're having a wonderful new year. I know it's only the 5th and we got one country down, we got 2026 is the Royal Rumble for countries apparently. Venezuela first on the list, didn't make it very far. Cuba, Greenland, Iran, Taiwan even, there's some likely candidates for number 2 so far.
Did you say
2026
Canada
is
already?
very young. I didn't say Canada. Honestly, all American hemisphere countries are in danger. Let's be real. And it is the American hemisphere. All right. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, I do want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the new outro. Hopefully it's not too spicy for YouTube. Please don't give me a strike, YouTube. Love you all very much. Christ is king. Get out there. Get it done. Be good soldiers. God bless.